Fordham and Lehigh tied at 35. Fordham looking for their first conference win of the season. From 44 yards out, the kick from Peskin. It's up. It's through the upright. Fordham wins 38-35. Brandon Peskin, the hero, in the final second.
The Rams are riding high. A game-winning field goal on homecoming will do that. It's a moment that feels like it will last forever. But whether we like it or not, time moves on, and a new weekend is already upon us. The Fordham Rams will look to build off the momentum of an invigorating win, traveling to Long Island to play a winless Stony Brook University team. With a bye week right around the corner, Fordham's hoping to cruise in with back-to-back wins. It's the last non-conference game of the season. Fordham versus Stony Brook, live on WFUV Sports.
Welcome in from Suffolk County and Long Island. It's time for Fordham football on WFUV Sports. The Fordham Rams head out east to take on the 0-5 Stony Brook Seawolves in their final non-conference game of the season. Hello everybody, Lou Orlando and Brian Rabacs coming to you live from Kennedy P. Lavelle Stadium. Fordham coming off a 38-35 homecoming win against Lehigh. Last-second field goal from Brandon Peskin sets a new career high. 45-yard field goal. Wasn't always the prettiest game, but Fordham able to tough it out, gets their first conference win of the season, and for the moment, they keep their Patriot League title hopes alive.
I said as we went off the air last week that we learned a lot about Fordham in the fourth quarter of that game. You were looking at the score, down by 2 possessions with less than 10 minutes to go, but the offense was able to do enough, stay composed, and they delivered when they needed to with their backs against the wall. And on the topic of delivering when they needed to, how about Brandon Peskin? I mean, 2 huge kicks at the end of that game, a game tire with 2 minutes to go, and then, of course, the game winner, career-long 45 yards as time expired, Lou. Those are the games that, if this season ends up going well for Fordham, you're going to look back at as a real high point in the season. Fordham feeling great coming off of that one. They get a win that they really needed to have, and they have a chance to get another one going to the bye week today as they face Stonehill on the road.
And after back-to-back conference games, they'll take on the Stony Brook Seawolves, and we'll get you all set for action in our 3:32 kickoff. But before we do, me and Brian sat down with Fordham football head coach Joe Conlon. Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs here with Fordham football head coach Joe Conlon. Coach, I'll hit you with a curveball to start. Let's talk about Brandon Peskin a little bit after that game-winning field goal. Obviously, that's a big moment for a team, but he feels like he's been a guy that's stepped up throughout the season, right? There's the 44-yarder in Buffalo at the end of halftime, and then 2 40-yarders on Saturday to tie, to win. How comfortable are you with him right now, and can you talk a little bit about how his skill has evolved since the 3 years that he's been here?
Yeah, first I'd just like to say I'm thrilled that the first question was not about replacing Tim DeMorat. So, obviously Pask has really done a great job kind of earning trust, and he's been fantastic all year, and really the thing about Brandon is he's been receptive to coaching all year, and we probably after the block against Buffalo, we said we got to speed up your operation time, and those guys are historically kind of resistant to change, but he's been fantastic. Vince Ticatano, one of our assistants, has done a great job with him. So, he's kicking the ball beautifully the last couple of weeks, practicing games. So, we have full confidence in him. If we cross the, really the 30, we feel like Pest can get us on the board, probably 47 and in, ideally, 45 and in. But, he's made some big kicks, and he certainly didn't let the moment get too big for him in 2 big situations on Saturday.
Coach, as a team against Lehigh, you find yourselves down by 2 scores with 10 minutes left in the fourth, but you guys were able to battle back and come away with the win. How impressed were you with this group's ability to deliver with your backs against the wall?
Well, yeah, what I said to the team was they spent 3 quarters kind of screwing it up and then 1 quarter fixing it. We had an opportunity in the third to go up 11. We were driving, moving the ball really at will, running the ball, and kind of missed a hit on a mid zone and then fumble the ball. They get it back, and we tack on a 15-yard penalty, and not to mention the 15-yard penalty we got after scoring the previous touchdown. So, didn't play smart football there when we had an opportunity to really take control of the game, go up 2 scores. We were playing good defense at that point in time, and I felt like, had we scored, kicked, hold them, get a ball back, could score again and really put the thing out of reach. So, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a problem of our own creation that the guys did show resiliency, just similar to what they showed at Buffalo. And they showed some conviction and, obviously great homecoming crowd despite the weather, and kind of carried us through.
And another thing that we noted from last week, 8 different targets had a reception. Particularly Cole Thornton had some big catches late in the first half and during the duration of that game. How much does it open up the offense when you guys are able to spread the ball around like you were able to do on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. CJ did a great job of using all his receivers, used his back. Jamel James had 2 big catches there. Used Juice out of the backfield pretty well. Yeah, I mean, obviously Cole's came up big for us at Albany as well, and we know how talented he is. So, yeah, I mean, if we can spread the ball around and you can't rotate coverage a certain way, and, I mean, it's like having MJ on one side and Garrett on the other. Like, we feel really good about that. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's good. And the other thing that opens up the offense is the ground game is going, and we ran for right around 250, and Juice had a great day. So, if you're doing that, you're going to have success.
You've said a couple of times now, talking about the Lehigh game, making mistakes for 3 quarters, and then on Wednesday you said, we feel like there's a lot more in us than we've seen the last 2 weeks. There's been a lot of really good signs. How close do you think this team is to playing the type of football that you envision for them, for the talent that they have?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I said in the staff meeting to the staff today, and it's what I'm going to talk to the team about tonight. We pride ourselves on playing really hard. Play with great effort. And I don't think we're not playing hard the last couple of weeks, but I think we're playing about as hard as our opponent, and which leaves a lot to chance. So I think if we update, if we kind of increase our intensity, our focus, our effort to the football on both sides of the ball, I think, we can have as much success as we would like to have, So, I very much believe in this team. It's just a matter of executing for 4 quarters and not putting the football on the ground.
And last one, you look at this Stony Brook team. You guys have played teams before that kind of go running back by committee, but I don't know about a team that has this many running backs that they get in the game. I think it's like 4 or 5 different guys that can really get the ball. How does that affect the way that the defense especially is preparing and what they're going to have to watch and film, what they're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, you focus less on the backs and more on the scheme and how you're going to fit in your base defense and things like that. I mean, they have good backs. These guys use Talarico played against us last year as their leading rushers. We recruited Shakai Carson. We know who he is. They're big. They're physical. They're big up front. We know that about Stony Brook. They have been the entire time that we've played them. So it's, we got to do a great job and come out early and not let them establish their ground game and do everything we can to stop it, and hopefully build a lead on offense and force them into a one-dimensional game.
Coach, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Brian, you hear Coach talk about that Lehigh game, and I think another case of, and you hear him say it himself, that Fordham put themselves in that hole, some self-inflicted penalties, some self-inflicted wounds, but this time, unlike Georgetown, able to come out of it, and that's the big difference. They get their first conference win of the season.
Well, obviously, you have to be thrilled with the win, but I think we can all agree it wasn't a perfect win, not a complete effort through the full 60 minutes of the game. First 3 quarters, he mentioned that they weren't exactly playing the brand of football that they want to be playing. They were still making a lot of mistakes, more penalties that we saw carry over from Georgetown into the Lehigh game, but the big thing you can take away from it is that they were able to correct themselves in the crucial moments of the game. In the 4th quarter, they were able to lock in. They were not making the mistakes that they were making earlier on, and they played clean football, and that's why they're so successful late in that game, and that's how it got them to a win. So they played better down the stretch, and it got them to a huge win. But obviously, the penalties and mistakes as a whole are going to need to be cleaned up. They're the most penalized team in the Patriot League right now, so that's something you're going to look to correct, and we'll see if they can do that today on the road against Stony Brook.
Yeah, turning it over and looking at this Stony Brook team, Brian, it feels like for the 3rd week in a row, the big storyline is you look at the team opposing on paper and you go, well, hey, that's a team that Fordham should be able to handle. And this Stony Brook team, winless, 0-5 overall, 0-4 in conference play. One of the worst teams in the CAA when it comes to offensively, the worst defense in the CAA. But we've seen 2 weeks in a row Fordham go up against a team that, statistically looks like they should crush, and that's not been the case.
Yeah, so Stony Brook, on paper, it should be a little bit of a mismatch with Fordham coming in against a winless team. And you look at some of these numbers for Stony Brook. One thing about their offense, they struggle to extend drives. They rank 14th in the CAA in first downs, and they struggle to put points on the board as well. But if you look at their last time out against Maine, they were really efficient. They scored 28 points on offense in the loss. Casey Case, their quarterback, didn't have a multi-passing touchdown game all season. Well, against Maine, he had 4 touchdowns. So there was a lot that you could like and take away from that loss to Maine the last time out for the Seawolves. So we'll see if they can carry that over today. And Fordham, you can't take them lightly because we've seen some teams play up to Fordham's level in recent weeks. So we'll see if Stony Brook has that in them today.
I think that is what scares you about this Stony Brook team a little bit coming into this one, is the game they're coming off of, that loss to Maine, a 56-28 loss to Maine. Well, Casey Case has a great game, his best game of the season by far, 348 passing yards, the 6th most all-time in Stony Brook history, 4 touchdowns. A great game for Casey Case, a guy that transferred over from an FBS school, quarterback at Buffalo, didn't see a ton of time, but this is a Stony Brook team that this year brought in 15 FBS transfers, so there's talent there, a lot of talent on that defensive line. 5th in the CAA in sacks, so certainly a team that can pose a threat to Fordham, and especially the way that Fordham's been playing recently, not one that you think you could go in and just cakewalk.
You look at some of the transfers from the school and where they came from. You're looking at Boise State, Temple, Penn State, Coastal Carolina. There's a lot of really talented players on this defense that Stony Brook has brought in an attempt to improve their roster. And they haven't put it all together just yet. They're still trying to gel some things together. But I think the big thing that you can look at is last week there is some positives, which they haven't seen a lot of this season. So if they can figure things out on the defensive side of the ball, they gave up 56 points against Maine. And for Fordham, if they can take advantage of some of the defensive miscues that Stony Brook has had to deal with this season, Stony Brook, the worst passing defense in the CAA. You're allowing 278 yards per game. And Fordham, one of the top passing offenses in the Patriot League, respectively. We'll see if the matchup works, but Stony Brook, a chance to have a big day and potentially ruin Fordham's time going into the bye week this upcoming week.
And Stony Brook coming off a bye week of their own, but not one that was planned. They were supposed to play Morgan State last week. That game gets canceled, so you're 2 weeks removed from that game up against Maine. So Stony Brook, a little bit more rest coming into this one. And you look at Fordham as they're coming into a bye week, and I think as we look at their schedule coming up after the bye week, it's Holy Cross. And Brian, we've talked all year about how important that game is going to be against Holy Cross. That's a game that, regardless of you're being honest or not, Fordham circled that game on their schedule since the beginning of the year. Holy Cross now ranked 12 in the FCS, and the obstacle, 6 straight Patriot League titles, and still the champs of the Patriot League as it stands right now. So coming off a bye week there, you're kind of hoping to see some steps of improvements if they can make some strides after this game.
Obviously, if you're a Fordham player, coach, fan, you have that game circled on your calendar. But if you're on the field today, you have to be focused on what's in front of you, and that's the Stony Brook Seawolves. You can't be looking ahead. The bye week is coming up, but you do have to be able to finish things off with a win. If you remember, Coach Collins said after the first bye week that they were banged up going into it, and they definitely needed that rest. Now they're a little healthier, but the bye week's still upcoming. Some guys playing a little banged up, some wear and tear overall. But this is a good chance for Fordham to play well going into the bye. They have a good chance to play well offensively today, and if they can keep riding that wave of momentum from the fourth quarter into this one, they should have a lot of success and potentially feel good going into the bye.
Coming into this season, Coach Conlon talked about, feeling really good, really healthy coming out of camp, but one of the big injuries against this team was senior captain defensive end Alfonso Dixon. Went down with a knee injury in preseason, and timeline was a little unsure. We heard maybe 5 to 6 weeks, but hadn't heard anything. And then he gets into the game last week against Lehigh, saw some limited action, and talked to Conlon a bit after, on Friday about Alfonso Dixon, and you see him out here right now. He's going to line up and be on special teams, and it seems like they're going to slowly ramp Alfonso Dixon up, and I think the hope is that he might be a full go for that Holy Cross game in 2 weeks.
Right. It's going to be a slow ramp up with Alfonso Dixon. You're talking a lower body injury, potentially a knee. Definitely something that you're not going to try to rush a player like Dixon back in for. So we talked to Coach Conlon yesterday. He said might play a little bit on special teams, and it's going to be a process in ramping him up. But it's good that they have the bye week coming up, and they're going to have 2 weeks before their next game. So we'll see if he rests up. But interested to see what he does today and what kind of reps he ends up getting.
Almost set for kickoff here in Kenneth B. Lavelle Stadium. It's Fordham in all white, maroon numbers and helmets. Stony Brook, red jerseys, white pants. Fordham kicking left to right. Peskin charges, puts toe to leather, and we're underway. Kicking to the far side. Return at the far side 10, taken up by Jaden Turner. Angling left side. He's got some space past the 30. Still going. And finally met a couple yards in front of the 30. A big hole there for Jaden Turner on that return. Fordham able to make up some containment there and pretend what could have been a longer return, but still good field positioning to start for Stony Brook.
A really good return from the senior Turner, and really good vision on that return. Finds a hole in the middle of the field and just darts to it. He's so quick. He's able to beat defenders to the spot and takes it up to around the 34-yard line. So that's where the Stony Brook offense will start off. And again, Casey Case had his best game of the season, his best game as a Seawolf last time out against Maine. So we'll see if he's able to carry that and have another good performance in this one.
They'll start this drive from their own 34. 3-receiver tight end set. Roland Dempster the back to the left. Snap, halfback draw to Dempster. Up for a few. Tackled down at the 35. A gain of 1. Roland Dempster takes the first carry. He'll get the start, but this is very much a running back by committee for Stony Brook.
Yeah, we mentioned it when we talked to Coach Collin. There's a lot of different running backs that Stony Brook can turn to. Dempster's just one of them, but there's so many others. Talarico, Carson, Johnny Martin. There's so many running backs that are capable of doing a good job on the grounds, and Stony Brook uses them heavily, and they've had success overall doing so.
Well, Shakai Carlson comes in for this 2nd down and 9 play to the right of Casey Case. 2 receivers up top. 2 tight ends on the line coming across in motion. And rolling right, Case throws on the run, finds Carlson out of the backfield, caught at the 36, turns up for a couple more, but tackled shy of the 40. And setting up a 3rd down and 6.
Well, good tackle there by Mike Courtney. Carlson got it and had a chance to run towards the 1st down chains, but a really nice job of Courtney to just wrap him up down by the knees and take him down, not allowing a big gain to happen, setting up a 3rd down. And this is going to be interesting because Stony Brook serves as one of the worst 3rd down offenses in the CAA, only 24% conversion, so a chance for Fordham to get off the field.
3rd down and 6, 13:35 in our first quarter. Case, the snap, drops back, throws right side, caught out of the backfield, and worked up for a couple yards, but he'll be short. Cal Redmond, the tight end, coming off the line, gets up to the 43-yard line, but doesn't get the 44, which he needed for the first.
And again, close to 1st down yardage was Redmond. And for now, the punting unit's not eager to come out on the field. So potentially Stony Brook keeping the offense on the field, but now the punting unit's coming out, and they're going to punt this football away.
Kept them out there for a moment, but they will send out Clayton Taylor to punt this one away, a yard short of the 1st down. Taylor stands at his own 28-yard line. It's Cole Thornton set to return his own 18. High snap for Taylor. Boots it away, far side. Fair catch waved by Cole Thornton. Receives it at the 15, and that's where Fordham will start their first drive of the game.
Fordham last week putting 38 points on the board against Lehigh, so another strong offensive performance. CJ Montes, a bounce-back game after a tough performance, an uncharacteristic performance that we saw in Georgetown last week. He was 34-48, 382 yards, a touchdown, a rushing touchdown as well, and no interception. So he still continues to do a good job of protecting the football and hit 8 different receivers last week in the win. So we'll see how many they get involved as they start on offense today.
Montez in the gun, 3-receiver tight end set. Luffridge the back to the right. Allen motions outside, so trips right, but a flag and some motion on the line. Fordham pointing towards Stony Brook as the refs converge.
It seems that Montez was able to get Andy Nwako on a hard count, so they might be calling offside. So Fordham gets 5 extra yards to start, and now they go from the 15 to the 20, so a little better starting field position on offense.
1st down and 5 from the 21-yard line. Trips near side. Allen in the slot. Luffridge the back to the right. Snap, straightaway give. Julius Luffridge plowing his way past the 23-yard line. Met there after a gain of 4.
And one of the things Joe Collin has talked about so much this season regarding this Fordham offense is the need to establish the run game. And boy, did they do that last week with Julius Leverage. He had 170 yards on the ground, 220 scrimmage yards to go along with 2 touchdowns. So Julius Leverage, a focal point of this offense, and they can do a lot of big things when he's running well.
Same formation, 2nd down and 1. Montez, play fake, throws, deep left side, looking for Garrett Cody, and incomplete. Tight coverage there from Owensky Nicholas along the far side.
They tried to do a play action, almost a read from Montez where he's able to pull it back, but he had pressure off the edge right away, so he just has to get rid of this ball quickly. Somehow able to deliver the ball in the area of Garrett Cody, but just incomplete. But good of Montez get that ball away, because if he gets sacked, it could have been a disaster.
On 3rd down and 1, Mekhi Felton comes off. Jeff Ciccio comes in. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Give to Julius Luffridge, powering through, breaks the tackle, past the 35, spins forward, still going, crossing midfield, and he's got 1 defender to beat, angling left, and finally brought down inside the 30. A huge run by Julius Luffridge on 3rd down and 1, breaking several tackles.
Well, you saw them bring in multiple tight ends on the line, so that created a hole for Luffridge, and the second he hits it, there's nobody there to cover him, and then a couple defenders are able to get in the vicinity, but he does a really nice job shaking tacklers like he usually does and takes it all the way into Stony Brook territory. So you talk about establishing the run, a great start on the ground for Luffridge.
Luffridge takes them up to the Stony Brook 26. 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Snap. Montez drops back, looking left, throws left. Jaden Allen at the 20-yard line, out of bounds. Gain of 6.
They run a nice little combination route where Garrett Cody is with him on the left side, and he turns upfield, so the attention goes there momentarily from the defenders, and then Allen's just open in the flat, able to take it for about 5 yards. A nice play design from the Rams.
11:05 left in the first quarter. Fordham moving quickly. Wide receiver stacks either side on 2nd down and 4. Snap, play fake, Montez, far side screen. Garrett Cody up the sideline, crosses the 15, out of bounds, but able to pick up the 1st down.
And smart by Fordham there, knowing that you just need a couple of yards to reset and get another 1st down. A quick screen to Garrett Cody, and you know you're going to have Jaden Allen as a blocker. So a really nice play, and Cody takes it for a couple of yards and gets a 1st down.
Fordham firmly inside the red zone at the 15. Right side give. Julius Luffridge tripped up in the backfield. And that tackle will keep that at a gain of 1. Andy Nwoko coming off the edge.
And Nwoko is one of the top players on this defense. And you look at the talent, a transfer from Boise State, got 3.5 tackles for loss this season, 2.5 sacks, one of 5 players on this defense to have done that. And he can make a real impact off the edge, and showing it there, getting into the backfield and wrapping Luffridge up early.
2nd and 9, 2 receivers either side. Allen and Felton in the slot. Now Allen motions to the line. Luffridge offset left. Snap. Give to Luffridge, angling left side. It's up to the 11-yard line for a gain of 4. Sets up a 3rd down and 5.
And you're looking at 3rd down. Fordham has done a nice job on offense in these situations, and this is a poor 3rd down defense for Stony Brook, so we'll see what ends up happening on this play.
3rd down and 6. Trips right. Some motion on the line from Stony Brook and a flinch. No call. Montez will look to the sideline for the call. 9:33 and ticking. Gain the Stony Brook 6 for the 1st down. Snap, play fake. Montez throws through the hands of Garrett Cody and incomplete. Cody had a step and was in the end zone on that slant, but couldn't reel it in. And here comes the field goal unit.
So initially, the Stony Brook corners were playing way off the line, but all of a sudden when the play call changed for Fordham, they stepped up and pressed a little bit more, so they gave themselves a little more room, and that allowed Porter to get in there on the coverage on the quick slant to Cody, because if he's playing off, that probably goes in for a touchdown, but with the limited space, he's able to get the stop and the incompletion.
Here's the last week's hero on for the 29-yarder. Brandon Peskin sinks it through the uprights. Fordham takes a 3-0 lead with 9:23 left in the first quarter. And so a promising first drive on a big run from Julius Luffridge, stopped inside the red zone, but still able to get 3.
Still able to get 3, so you'll take it. Obviously, you want to score, but points are the overarching goal. So Fordham takes a 3-0 lead. Brandon Peskin once again delivers from field goal range. So Fordham up 3-0. They were moving the ball, established the run, a couple of really nice carries from Julius Luffridge. So you give your defense a lead. They looked good early on in this one, so a chance to play a little more relaxed. You have a lead, and we'll see what they have in store coming up, but a nice start to this game offensively for the Fordham Rams.
With 9:23 left in our first quarter, we'll take our first break at this ball game. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Danny Scott.
I'm Tyler Hu, and we're two of your hosts for WFUV's College Gridiron.
We'll discuss all the best games from around the world of college football.
We'll also talk about the rankings and give our thoughts on the Heisman race.
We'll preview the best games of next week and give our score predictions.
Keenan Troy and other co-hosts will join us as well.
Tune in to College Gridiron wherever you get your podcast.
Back with you, Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs, Chris Persianen, our on-site producer, bring you Fordham football on WFUV Sports, and it's Fordham taking a 3-0 lead. The first time in 3 games that it's Fordham taking a lead, it had been Lehigh and Georgetown that had scored first, and actually, if you go back, even Buffalo had scored first, so it had a nice little streak that Fordham's able to break, and that drive really based on that 53-yard run from Julius Luffridge, breaking several tackles. You get inside the red zone, able to pick up a first down inside the red zone, but you get stopped inside the 10.
So there's a lot that's been different about the start of this game compared to the recent ones. If you look at Georgetown and Lehigh, both those games, the Fordham defense allowed opening drive touchdowns. This one, they forced a 3-and-out. And then on offense, Fordham, we've talked about the slow starts recently, taking a while to get going. Well, they march down the field. Julius Luffridge leads the way with a 49-yard carry, and Fordham gets points on the board, and they're up 3-0 to start.
Peskin set for the ensuing kickoff kicks, far side for Jaden Turner. Up along that sideline, bounces outside the 20, met the 25. They'll be brought down right there.
And another chance for the Stony Brook offense, who weren't able to do much of anything on their first drive. They were forced to punt, so we'll see if they can nux that. But you look at last week where they were so successful. I mean, KHC Case had his best performance as a member of the Stony Brook Seawolves. So you just have to maintain that level of confidence that you have. You have a Fordham defense that has been struggling a little bit as of late, especially out of the gate. So you got to take advantage of that. And Stony Brook didn't come up successful in their first drive, but a chance to reset and make something happen here.
Two receiver, 2 tight ends set from their own 24. Case claps to the snap. Right side give to Dempster, trying to take it outside. Works past the 25 and brought down after a gain of 1.
And they try to send Dempster in motion and catch Fordham off guard, which we saw a couple weeks ago in Georgetown. But there, the Fordham defense reads it really well, stays with Dempster all the way, and doesn't let him to get more than 2 yards.
Jaden Cook enters the game, replacing Jace Freeman. Running back converted to wide receiver, coming off a 7-reception, 117-yard, 2-touchdown game against Maine. It's 1 receiver either side, 2 tight ends on the line. Dempster the back to the right. And now Benisi motions outside. High snap, play fake. Case dropping back, facing pressure, scrambles right, evading the pressure and rolling right to the 30-yard line. Picks up a gain of 4 and sets up a manageable 3rd down.
And Case is a tough quarterback to bring down. And you look at him, 6'6", 220 pounds. He can use his legs and run, so he takes off there and has the ability to run over defenders. So he's a strong, imposing physical presence who can move outside the pocket. A good job recognizing pressure and avoiding a sack, and now setting up, like you said, a manageable 3rd down.
Fordham 3 straight games without a sack. Got good pressure there on 2nd down. It's 3rd down and 2 from the Stony Brook 32-yard line. 8:05 and ticking on the first quarter clock. Empty backfield for Case. 3 down low, 2 up top. Fordham in a nickel formation. Snap. Case facing pressure. Throws over the middle and incomplete. Stephen Williams in coverage, knocking Freeman off the ball. And once again, Fordham has forced Stony Brook into a difficult decision, and they will send out the punting unit.
And Fordham sent pressure there, forcing Case to get the ball out quickly. They had Mark Preto going off the edge, and he wasn't picked up, so Case needed to deliver this ball quickly, and the routes were not able to develop, so no one was really open. A contested catch over the middle was possible, but Stephen Williams able to knock it away, and this Fordham defense, after struggling the last couple of weeks out of the gate, they forced 2 punts.
2 drives, 2 3-and-outs so far for Stony Brook. Taylor punts from his own 20-yard line, straight down the middle. Cole Thornton at the 25-yard line with the fair catch. And blink and you'll miss it. Fordham right back on offense. After a drive that ended in a field goal, and we'll get another look at C.J. Montez. C.J. Montez doing historic stuff for the Fordham Rams, becoming the first Fordham Ram in program history to throw 17 passing touchdowns in his first 6 games with the program. It's been an incredible start for the redshirt sophomore transferring over from New Mexico State. He's in the gun, 2 receivers either side. Luffridge offset right. Stony Brook showing 4-3. Montez claps to the snap, play fake, throws, far side screen. Garrett Cody once again up past the 30, knocked out of bounds at the 35. A flag comes from that far sideline.
Yeah, with there, they run a screen and they had Cicio as a blocker, but unfortunately I think that's where the penalty is coming from. Looks like they're going to get him for a hold, and this one's going to end up coming back.
So take away the 5-yard gain from Garrett Cody as they'll walk Fordham back.
But again, we were talking about C.J. Montez and how impressive he's been. I think the biggest thing, you can talk about the 17 touchdowns, you can talk about leading the Patriot League in passing yards and touchdowns. The big thing you have to look at is no interceptions. So he's done a great job of making smart decisions and protecting the football and keeping this offense alive and giving them chances all season long.
1st and 16, Montez pitches far side. Luffridge off the far sideline, gets past the 20, burrows over a defender, and out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
It is so fun watching Julius Luffridge carry the football. Really fearless when he has the ball in his hands. You see it there, just lowering the shoulder on Nick Chimienzi. He does a really nice job and a strong physical run once again there on 1st down.
2nd down and 12, 2 receivers either side, 7:05 left in our 1st quarter. Luffridge the back to the right. Snap. Montez drops back, facing pressure, throws deep left side, looking for Garrett Cody. Can't make the catch. Would have been a difficult basket catch, but once again, excellent coverage by Walensky Nicholas, who's been lined up with Cody along that far sideline.
And Fordham's targeted that matchup a couple of times early on in this game. Their one-on-one coverage, and Cody's just running a straight fly route, and Stony Brook brings some pressure. Montez airs it out, but incomplete, and good coverage down the field.
3rd down and 12, needing the 34. Montez drew a flinch on his snap clap. And this one looks like it could go against Stony Brook.
It looks like that's where the officials are pointing, and that's what they're going to call.
Offsides against the defense. The 2nd offsides against this Stony Brook defensive line. We mentioned in our intro, 5th in the CAA in sacks. So although despite having the worst defense in the CAA, they do get some good pressure on that line led by Nwoko. Makes this a much more manageable 3rd down and 7. 2 receivers either side, Luffridge offset right. Montez in the gun. Snap, sending for Stony Brook. Looking left, throwing left, has the 1st down. Cole Thornton in stiff arms and move towards the middle of the field. Still moving past the 45. Brought down at the 48-yard line. Cole Thornton wide open on that 10-yard curl. Unable to get some with his legs after the play.
And Lou, again, it was Nicholas who they were looking at on the outside, and Cole Thornton just running a nice comebacker route, has him fooled. He bites a little bit on the deep route, so Thornton able to come back, make the catch, and get a 1st down for Fordham.
1st down and 10 from their own 48. Snap straight, they give Julius Luffridge, sidesteps a tackle, rolling forward into Stony Brook territory, brought down at the 46-yard line, a gain of 5.
Luffridge a little slow to get up for the moment. Maybe his shoe came off, so he looks to be okay.
Adjusting his shoe right now. It's 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Tight end off the line is Cicio. 2nd down and 4. Snap, play action. Montez looking left, throwing deep for Garrett Cody. Can't make the catch. The diving attempt. It's the same play they've been targeting all game long. That streak from Garrett Cody, and now Garrett Cody is down along the far sideline. Took a hard fall on that diving attempt, and he is in some pain.
Yeah, he had to lay out to get that one. And on that play, Fordham's been targeting that matchup early in this 1st quarter, and Cody had a step, but this one just a little out of his reach. He has to lay out, and now he's slow to get up. You hope if you're Fordham, this is just him getting the wind knocked out of him, getting a little shaken up. And we talk about Fordham's receiving room being a little banged up, a little hurt in these last couple of games. Garrett Cody is not someone you want to lose with how productive he's been this season.
And already 3 receptions for 30 yards today for Garrett Cody. Just 10 minutes into our 1st quarter, has been targeted 7 times. And on this last target, took a tough fall on that diving grab, on that diving attempt. And that time, unlike the first 2 against Nicholas, Cody had the step, but just a little bit too much juice on that ball from Montez.
And we've seen a couple instances this year where they've had deep shots open, but Montez is just a tick off and someone's just missed, and that's exactly what we saw. Cody had a really open lane down the field. He got a step on the defender, but just out of his reach, and he is walking off the field on the sideline unattended. So with this situation, you hope he's just out for a couple of plays. But again, this receiver room for Fordham is so talented where one of them goes off the field, and it makes all the difference. We've seen Mekhi Felton come off in the last couple of weeks, and it's made a difference in the passing game. So Fordham definitely not thrilled to be losing Garrett Cody, especially with this third down coming up.
Ricky Gonzalez comes in for the injured Thornton. 2 receivers either side. 3rd down and 4. 5:53 left in the first quarter. Needing the 42-yard line snap. Montez looks right, finds Jamel James out of the backfield, some space, picks up the first down. Brought down at the 40-yard line. Jamel James checks into the game and picks up a reception.
And Jamel James has been utilized out of the backfield in recent weeks. We've seen games, performances against Stonehill where he did a really nice job out of the backfield. We've seen some big runs, and there, featured on the 3rd down, gets a nice screen pass, good vision, nice cut back up the middle, and picks up a first down.
Ball in the near hash. James to the left of Montez. 3 receiver tight end set. Play action. No, the give to James on the right side. Breaks the tackle. Still going past the 30. Finally tripped up. The ball comes loose. Diving on it is Stony Brook. We await the call. If it's a fumble, it would be Stony Brook's ball. So the only question is whether or not James was down when the ball came out.
They didn't signal anything on the field initially, but it looks like they're going to call him down by contact.
Say James was down. So he picks up the first down on that run, but Fordham had some fumble issues last week, too, from Mason Hatfield and Jacob Rodriguez. First down and 10 from the 26. 2 up top, 1 down low. Play action. Montez looks right, throws right. Ricky Gonzalez, in his hands and out. Dropped the ball. Had his first career touchdown in his hands and just couldn't make the grab.
And that was grad student Quentin Porter on the coverage. A really nice job staying with the receiver, but there was still enough space for Gonzalez to be able to make that catch. It did hit him in the hands. He did have an open look, but just not able to corral it. So Gonzalez goes off the field for now, but good for the Fordham Rams. You see number 7, Garrett Cody, back on the field down at the bottom.
Montez right side give. Julius Luffridge up to the 25 and stonewalled there. So call it a gain of 1. Strong stand by the defensive line as Stony Brook sets up 3rd and 9 with 4:23 in ticking.
Saw Fordham get into this territory on the first drive. Weren't able to score a touchdown, settled for a field goal. Have to imagine they're hoping for more here.
Well, they need the 16. They're at the 25 right now. Trips left with Garrett Cody, the lone receiver on the near side. Ball on the near side hash. Luffridge to the right of Montez. Takes the snap. Montez looking left. Throws left. And incomplete. Some miscommunication between Mekhi Felton and C.J. Montez. Felton cut in. Montez throws the out route, and lucky that one just falls incomplete.
Yeah, lucky there was no defender in the area waiting to pick that off. And you're right, like you said, Felton just running an in route. Montez thinks he's going out, and it forces an incompletion, but a chance for Brandon Peskin to have another field goal on the board, and a long one here too.
A 43-yard attempt for Brandon Peskin on the near hash. Snap the hold. Peskin's kick is up. And through the upright, Brandon Peskin once again converts from 40 plus. He's now 6 of 7 on the year from 40 yards plus. Another big hit for Brandon Peskin, and Fordham takes a 6-0 lead with 3:49 left in the first.
And it's been really interesting to see just how Brandon Peskin's game has evolved this season. You look at 16 of 17 last year, but his longest that he hit in 2022 was from 30 now. And now we're seeing a number of field goals that he's hit from 40 plus right there from 43 yards. He sails it through, and Fordham up 6-0 thanks to 2 field goals made by the homecoming hero, Brandon Peskin.
Well, you heard Coach Conlon say when we talked to him on Friday that they really feel great about how Peskin's leg has evolved and how open he's been to coaching, and you've seen that be an evolution of his game. You said last year his longest was from 39. Well, now Coach Conlon said they really feel comfortable with him from 47 in, and that one a 43-yarder, his 4th kick from 40 plus on the season, and they've all been big kicks, right? You think back to the Buffalo game at halftime to make it a 1-point game, sinks it from 44, and then against Lehigh, a 41-yarder to tie it, the 45 to win it. So Peskin's had some big kicks. That one, maybe not to the same magnitude, but still a 43-yarder, and he's perfect.
But still, if he ends up missing that kick, you leave Stony Brook with good starting field position, and you're shaking your head coming up on a drive empty with points. But Peskin uses his leg. He's able to drill it from 43 yards. And again, just the evolution of his leg. When you have Coach Conlon saying that he's comfortable with him from about 47 yards in, I mean, there's not a lot of collegiate kickers who can hit from that range. It's always a challenge, but Peskin this season hasn't really been fazed by it. He's been almost automatic from that range, and so far today, he's been flawless.
Well, Fordham, 2 promising drives, but once again, it's Stony Brook able to hold strong, and you think back to that third down play, some miscommunication, maybe a missed throw from C.J. Montez. You have Mekhi Felton going back to the sideline, shaking his head, and you do wonder, hey, is that miscommunication between the play, or is that just a bad throw by C.J. Montez? But either way, Fordham gets close to the red zone but can't convert once again.
Yeah, we've seen that twice already in this game, and you'd like to see a couple more receivers get involved. Before that incompletion to Felton, it was really only Garrett Cody getting targets. He's got 7 targets already in this game, and then you only have other completions to Allen and Jamel James out of the backfield.
Kicks away from Peskin to the far side, 15. Fumbled by Turner, recovers it, gets up to the 20-yard line. Still up, bounces back to the 15-yard line. He'll be tackled there. So Jaden Turner, just a chaotic return from start to finish. Muffed the return, able to pick it up, gets to the 20, then tries to work back and ends up losing 5 yards.
Yeah, that was a broken return from the start where Turner muffs it, and from there, the whole timing of the play is off, where he has to search on the ground to corral it, and then right away, the Fordham defensive surge on special teams is just right there to meet him, and he tries to shake a couple tacklers, but just not able to get out of anything. So the miscue has Stony Brook set up at their own 18-yard line, so not the best starting field position for an offense that hasn't been able to move the ball so far today.
2 drives, just 3 minutes and 40 seconds of possession so far. Play action, throws over the middle, brought in. Anthony Johnson coming across on the deep crossing pattern, picks up the first down. It's the first down for Stony Brook today. A fresh set of chains past the 30-yard line.
Johnson's one of the freshmen on this team that Stony Brook has invested in, and you look at that throw from Casey Case, a really strong confidence throw, showing that maybe he's a little more assured of his abilities. After last week, he had to throw that ball quick, fit it into a tight window, but he was able to get the completion.
Case in the gun, 2 receiver, 2 tight end set, looking right, throws right. It's Johnson again, jukes and works up past the first down. Back-to-back first downs for the Stony Brook offense, and both times looking towards the freshman Anthony Johnson.
Johnson, transfer from JMU, has really become Stony Brook's top target this year. 349 yards and a touchdown coming into this one. He had that breakout game against Arkansas State where he had 9 catches for 127 yards. So he's getting his first year of reps here for Stony Brook and doing a really nice job. And he's got some two first downs on these last 2 plays.
That's another FBS transfer, Brian. Empty backfield for Case, throws the near side screen, brought in by Carlson, trying to work up the near sideline. Gets past the 45, up to the 48-yard line, call it a gain of 5. A nice leaping grab by Carlson on that screen.
Yeah, you're looking at the multiple looks that Stony Brook can provide on offense there. A screen to Carlson, he's able to get it. Transfer from Kent State, so another FBS transfer, but
Carlson
Fordham
coming up a little limp there as Tallarico comes in.
And Fordham read that play really well, just able to bring him down. But still, about 6 yards gained on that screen pass, so Stony Brook continues to move the ball despite having a lack of success early on.
1:55 left in the first. Case under center. The tailback, Tallarico. It's the giver on the end around in reverse. Back to Casey Case on the flea flicker. Throws the far side screen and incomplete to Jaden Turner. Some trickery there. The double reverse flips it back to Casey Case, trying to get the ball to Cook out of the backfield and just drops the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if they were intending for that play to go to Cook in the flat. Usually when you see a double reverse, you're trying to set something up downfield, but it wasn't there, so Case has to get it out quickly, gets it to Cook in the flat because he was under some duress when he got the ball back. So the Fordham defense provides some pressure. They read the play well. They're not fooled, and they get an incompletion setting up another third down.
3rd and 4, 1:46 left in the first quarter. They need the Fordham 48. Case in the gun. Takes the snap. Looking middle, throws middle. Hauled in. Past the first down marker. That's Anthony Johnson once more. A 6-yard reception right over the middle of the field on a short curl route. They'll keep the chains moving, minute 30 and ticking.
And we saw Johnson pick up 2 first downs already on this drive, so how about a third? Case continues to trust him. There he finds a soft spot in the Fordham zone. He's able to secure it at the first down marker and keep the drive going for the Seawolves.
Fordham ahead 6-0. Stony Brook looking for their first score of the game. It's Case under center. Snap, play action on the reverse to Anthony Johnson. Sheds a tackle from Chalhoub and trying to work up past the line of scrimmage. But that play will go as a loss of 5.
Fordham not fooled on that play at all. You saw Chalhoub get in the backfield right away, and then they tried to cut it to the outside, but Armstrong was there to make some more contact, and then James Conway got in there to finish the tackle, and it results in a loss of 5.
45 seconds and ticking on our first quarter. Stony Brook pushed back to midfield after that loss of 5. Trips left side. Case in the gun. 35 seconds and ticking. Snap, left side give. Roland Dempster has some space. Jumps past the first down as he hurdles past Mathani Paul Swinson. Brought down shortly after it at the 32-yard line, but a 17-yard run for Roland Dempster.
Well, all we're going to talk about is the hurdle on that play, but some misdirection early on has the Fordham defense going one way, and then Dempster just goes the other and then finishes off with an incredible hurdle. What an athletic run from Roland Dempster as Stony Brook continues to chug down the field.
Stony Brook gets the snap right before quarter ends. Give to Dempster right up the middle, moves forward for a few, and he'll pick up 3 as that ends our first quarter. So Fordham ahead 6-0 after 1 quarter of play, but it's Stony Brook driving and into Fordham territory for the first time today.
And listen, with the way the end of this first quarter is going, and even that one play where Dempster hurls a defender, that's going to be a momentum swinger potentially and get some energy up on the Stony Brook sideline. And you could just hear it from the second he jumped over Mathani Paul Swinson. You could hear the crowd, the bench got up, so an extra jolt of energy, and that's always going to help when Stony Brook's moving the ball as well as they are on this drive. So we'll see if that carries over into the second quarter of play.
A 6-0 lead for Fordham after 1 quarter. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Will Jing has our update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's Saturday, meaning college football is underway. To start off this week of college football, Tulane took down Memphis 31-21. Fresno State beat Utah State 37-32 in Utah. And in a thriller, the Houston Cougars just edged out the West Virginia Mountaineers 41-39 with a buzzer-beating touchdown on Thursday night. Donovan Smith, in a game where he completed his last 16 passes, lobbed a long pass into the end zone. It was tipped once, and then Stephon Johnson caught the ball to win the game. Then last night, the Stanford Cardinal completed a comeback from down 29-0 at the half against Coach Prime's Colorado Buffaloes in double overtime. The returning Travis Hunter led the team with 140 receiving yards, while Alec Ayomaner led Stanford with a whopping 294 receiving yards. Both QBs played well, but ultimately, Shedeur Sanders' squad ultimately fell 46-43. Today so far, Syracuse got destroyed by Florida State, the number 4 team in the nation, 41-3. Number 11 Alabama beat Arkansas 24-21. Number 1 Georgia beat Vanderbilt 37-20. Number 3 Ohio State tore Purdue apart 41-7, and their rival number 2 Michigan beat Indiana 52-7. As for current games, number 8 Oregon is currently down to the number 17 Washington 7-0 with a little less than 11 minutes to go in the first quarter. Number 6 and Penn State and UMass are tied scoreless in the first quarter. Oklahoma State is up by a touchdown on number 23 Kansas, and Texas A&M has a 7-0 lead over number 19 Tennessee. And that was Will Jing with the...
Case takes the snap, looking left, throws left, end zone shot, trying to haul it in with one hand, but incomplete. Anthony Johnson the target. On the first drive, or the first play of the second quarter, Casey Case targeting the end zone, and guess who? Anthony Johnson.
Yeah, Lou, they keep going his way. He had 3 catches on the drive already, now targeting him a 4th time, but Cam Blair in coverage does a really nice job staying with the receiver and just getting a hand up there to disrupt the concentration and knock that ball loose for an incompletion.
3rd and 7 from the Fordham 29, needing the 22. Fordham ahead 6-0. 5 seconds into our second quarter. 2 receivers up top, 1 down low. Case the snap, blitz off the edge from Mike Courtney. Case rolling right, throws on the run, into the end zone, touchdown, Stony Brook. Anthony Johnson, the basket catch. What a play from Casey Case to extend that and get it into the end zone.
Casey Case does a really nice job dealing with the pressure that Fordham ends up sending. He's running to his right, and then a really nice job communicating with Johnson down the field. He's able to break away just enough, maybe a little bit of a push off in the end zone, but he's able to get enough separation to make the catch. It was all Anthony Johnson on that drive, so fitting that he caps it off with a touchdown.
You had Mike Courtney coming off the edge as a safety, and you also had good pressure from the front four. Case had to roll out, but able to deliver that throw. It's Spencer Biscoe nailing the extra point, so Stony Brook takes a 7-6 lead just 10 seconds into our second quarter. And coming out firing to start that second quarter, and you said it right, Anthony Johnson everywhere on that drive. 4 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown in that. A fantastic throw and catch, and nice job by Anthony Johnson, right? Has the defender there, maybe gets away with a little bit of a shove, but able to get his defender away from him and then make the catch in the end zone.
And he had to do a nice job adjusting to the football, too, because, again, when you have Case running out to his right, it's going to lead a possibility for a throw, maybe not to be on target, because, again, he's not composed. He's dealing with a lot of pressure and a lot of moving parts. So running to his right, he just lofts the ball up, and Johnson's just able to recognize where it is, where his defender is. He's able to make an easy touchdown grab, and he was just all over the place on that drive, and a reason why Case is doing so well overall on the day right now. 7 of 10, 75 yards, and a touchdown. So we talked about carrying a strong offensive performance from last week into this one. Case is doing a really nice job throwing the football once again.
Well, Casey Case coming off one of the best quarterback performances in Stony Brook history just 2 weeks ago against Maine, and making an impressive play, not just to get Stony Brook on the board, to give them the lead at 7-6. Big kick away from Spencer Biscoe all the way into the end zone. And that'll go as a touchback. Fordham starts at the 25-yard line.
For Fordham, we've seen them move the ball on offense effectively on the ground, but through the air, they've struggled a little bit. They've done a nice job getting the ball to Garrett Cody, but just having the connection with the other receivers, it hasn't been there. We haven't called MJ Wright's name once today, and there was already a miscommunication with Mekhi Felton as well, and we've seen them get into Stony Brook territory twice early on, but both times they've had to settle for field goals. So now they find themselves down in this game. They're down 7-6, so they're going to look to buck that, but they're going to look to keep moving the ball. Just this time, they want to punch it into the red end zone for 6.
Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs giving you Fordham football on WFUV Sports. Montez snap, play action, throws, far side screen. Jaden Allen met right there. And that play going nowhere, snuffed out by Nick Chimenti, coming from his safety position to make that tackle.
Yeah, Chimenti does a nice job reading that play. Fordham tries to get the screen pass going, which they've had success in early on in this one, but with Chimenti reading that, they had no chance.
Wide receiver stacks either side on 2nd and 10. Montez drops back, play action, looking right, now scrambling left as he's facing some pressure, and he'll take this himself past the 30, the 35, 40, and out of bounds at the 43-yard line. CJ Montez picks up 15, picks up the first down.
Well, Montez is so quick, not only able to use his legs well, but his speed is so impressive. He had Rodney Folk behind him, ready to bring him down, which could have been disaster because Montez doesn't see him coming, but he does a really nice job sensing it and just taking it up and takes it for a first down. So Montez uses his legs effectively once again.
But on the left hash, three wide receiver tight end set. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Luffridge motions to the left of Montez. Snap. Montez looking left, throws left. Garrett Cody on a streak and incomplete. Looked like Cody started to angle in for a post, and Montez threw the back shoulder throw, and maybe some more miscommunication between Montez and his receivers.
Possibly the receivers just a tick off with Montez, but again, Valencia Nicholas was targeted, and he's done, got to give him some credit, he's done a nice job in coverage, not allowing these big plays for Fordham to happen when they're looking for him.
2nd and 10, Montez play action, rolling right, throws on the run. Mekhi Felton passed the first down and goes out of bounds at the Stony Brook 40-yard line. Wide open on that play.
Yeah, all there is just a crosser, and Mekhi Felton just strips across the field, and then there's nobody over there in the zone in the flat for Stony Brook to cover. So Felton's all alone. He's able to make a catch, and that's about as easy of a first down as you're going to get for Montez and the Fordham Rams.
13-20 in our second quarter. 2 up top, 1 down low. Luffridge offset left. 4-2 defense for Stony Brook. Straightaway give. Julius Luffridge met in the backfield and going nowhere. Daishir Clary tackling Luffridge for a loss of 2.
Daishir Clary, that's going to be a tackle for loss. So he's now at 3.5 on the season. Again, one of 5 players on this defense with at least 2.5 on the year. And you talk about FBS talent on the team. Daishir Clary, a transfer from Temple, where he spent 3 seasons. So he's an impact player, and he makes an impact in the backfield there. 2nd down and 12, wide receiver stacks either side. You mentioned Clary. Now 3.5 tackles for a loss, ties him for the team lead with Nwoko. Luffridge to the left of Montez. Stony Brook showing blitz off the near side edge. There he goes. Montez sits in the pocket, throws left side. Mekhi Felton, the leaping grab. Did he get the toe in? They'll say no, toe on the line. So Mekhi Felton would have been a yard short of the first down, but the throw took him out of bounds and unable to get that 1 foot in. Yeah, you just need 1 foot in college, and it was very close on the sideline. And they're showing a replay on the big screen here, but you do see the first foot does go down out of bounds, so Felton not able to reel in the completion. 3rd and 12, they need the Stony Brook 32. Trips on the left side, Cody Felton and Jaden Allen. It's MJ Wright, the lone receiver on the far side. 12:23 left in the second quarter. Just 1 linebacker in the formation for Stony Brook. Montez sits in the pocket, steps up, throws left side, almost intercepted right through the hands of Quentin Porter, and that one would have been one of the easiest interceptions he would have had. Garrett Cody slipped on the route, and that throw went right to the defensive back. As it stands right now, C.J. Montez still yet to throw an interception with the Fordham Rams, but that one awfully close. Yeah, that was about as close as we've seen to a takeaway on defense against Fordham this season. And we talked about miscommunications between Montez and his receivers today. Well, that one was just a missed throw from Montez. You had Cody open in the middle of the field, but this one just goes behind him and an incompletion, and Fordham once again sending out the punting unit. Had MJ Wright open on the far side as well. A tough cut from Will Hazlitt. This one will roll from the 20 inside the 10-yard line, stops at the 8, and finally tapped down. So a pooch punt from Will Hazlitt. Didn't put a ton of leg in it, but didn't need to, as he traps Stony Brook inside the 10 with 12:06 left in the second quarter. With that, let's take a quick break here. It's Stony Brook ahead 7-6. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Lou Orlando.
And I'm Colin Lochran.
And we're 2 of your main hosts for WFUV Sports' NHL podcast, 5 on 3.
We'll keep you updated on the Rangers, Islanders, Devils, and of course, the Stanley Cup Final.
Home ice for all things NHL, 5 on 3.
Back with you, Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs, Chris Persianen, our on-site producer, bringing you Fordham football on WFUV Sports. It's Stony Brook, a 7-6 lead, 12 minutes left in our second quarter. And for the first time today, Fordham has been forced to punt. And you look at this Stony Brook defense coming in dead last in the CAA, allowing the most yards per game, allowing the most passing yards per game. And, so far they've held strong against Fordham. They've allowed 2 field goals, but they haven't allowed the touchdown. And there they force a punt. And I think also some of the blame might go to C.J. Montez as well, seeming to be a little bit off kilter with his receivers. But that combination has resulted in just 2 field goals for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, we talked about the defensive struggles for the Seawolves coming into this game. You mentioned allowing 35 points per contest, but today they've done a really nice job, and particularly in the passing game too, where Montez just hasn't been able to get the ball to his receivers consistently enough. You've seen Garrett Cody get targeted a lot. He's been targeted 9 times, but they've only completed a pass to him 3 times. So they've done a really nice job in coverage, particularly Walensky Nicholas, who seems to be targeted all the time in this game. He's done a really nice job. So we talk about the struggles in the secondary for Stony Brook come into this one, but we're not seeing that in the first quarter and early second quarter of this game.
And Juju Ganther probably should have had an interception and then if he makes that catch, probably has some room to return. Instead, after the punt, Stony Brook trapped at their own 9-yard line. Snap, play action, Case throws near side. Jaden Cook caught at the 15-yard line, moves up to the 20-yard line. That picks up the first down. And just like that, Stony Brook out from inside their own 10.
Stony Brook loves the versatility that Cook is able to possess. Came in to this program as a running back, but we've seen him get more reps at the wide receiver position this season, and you saw it there. Just a nice little screen route. He's able to take it upfield. He's able to get a first down, and he's transitioned really effectively and done a really nice job fitting into this current offensive regime.
2 receiver, 2 tight end set, both receivers on the far side. Snap, left side give, Dempster cuts back, working up the middle. Picks up a gain of 2, but brought down by Mark Preto.
We've seen early on in this contest, Stony Brook use a couple of these misdirection carries with Dempster. One of them broke a long way for 18 yards where you saw that hurdle, but the last couple of times they've tried it, Fordham's done a really nice job of being able to recognize it and not letting it go for many yards.
Dempster able to get to the 25, 2nd down and 6, 10:55 and ticking. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set, wide receivers on the near side. Coming across in motion. Case play action, dropping back, throws with pressure in his face and just sails it out of bounds. Cal Redmond the closest receiver to him, but Fordham getting immediate pressure in there. It's like James Conway and Colby Spencer both getting into the face of Casey Case.
Yeah, nice job from Case. When you see James Conway getting through the line ready for a sack, you have to throw that football away. So Case does a nice job, throws it to receiver in the area on the sideline, just lofts it out of bounds, avoids a sack, and sets up a 3rd down.
3rd down and 6. Stony Brook needs their own 31. It's a 7-6 lead for Stony Brook. 10:44 left in the second. Empty backfield. 3 receivers down low, 2 up top. 4 on the line for Fordham. Quick near side screen. Brought in at the 25-yard line. Working up and well short of the first down. That's Des Williams, the redshirt sophomore. Able to get up to the 29-yard line, but 2 yards short of the first. And once again, out comes the punting unit.
And it was James Conway who came in on that tackle, and he's playing really middle of the field, but he comes down to the near sideline to make that tackle. So he comes really all the way across the field to make that play. Just the effort and the tenacity that he plays with. He's able just provide so much on the football field. Makes a big play there. Stops him just short of the first down marker, and the punting unit for Stony Brook needs to come out once again.
Clayton Taylor stands at his own 15, able to boot it away. A high punt to the near side 40. Fair catch by Cole Thornton at the 41-yard line.
Oh, you were watching against Stonehill, Lou, where Garrett Cody had that block punt for a touchdown. He almost had another one there coming off the edge, but Stony Brook just able to get the punt away. So now Fordham set up pretty nicely at their own 42-yard line. Again, this offense just hasn't really been clicking so far in this one. Uncharacteristic. I mean, we've seen them get off to slow starts, but we usually haven't seen the miscommunications and just the lack of being on the same page that we've seen early on in this game. So we'll see if they're able to correct it, but so far just nothing going right offensively after those first 2 drives.
Montez 7-16 for 57 yards. Play action, running out of the huddle with good pressure, and he's got the first down and then some. Sliding down to the 45, takes a hit after the play. Flags come out, and that should be unnecessary roughness and move Fordham up even further.
Yeah, looks like they're going to get DeAndre Cruz on potentially a hit. You saw 2 flags thrown from the officials. He attempted to make the tackle right as Montez was sliding to the ground. It looks like here the 2 flags are going to be offsetting penalties.
Holding on the offense offsets the personal foul against Stony Brook. So we'll just do that one over. Montez had a lot of time in the pocket on that play, but nothing open. Took it himself. And what could have been, after the penalty, a play that takes Fordham up to the 30-yard line instead. Back where they started this drive, their own 42.
And we've seen penalties really be an Achilles heel for this Fordham team in recent weeks. Now, it's been a lot better today. You haven't seen a lot of penalties early on in this game, but right there, that's one that negates potentially, first of all, not only a first down, but what would have been 15 yards more. And it looks like they're going to enforce possibly the defensive penalty.
They'll give them 5 yards. So they move them up to the 47-yard line. Still first down and 10. 9:40 and ticking. Trips right for Fordham. Montez straightaway give Luffridge, bounces it outside, stiff arms a tackler, moving up past the 40, still going along the sideline, finally pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Anthony Forelli. But Luffridge showing off his big playability once again.
Luffridge, such great vision as a running back and really nice footwork too. He's able to just bounce it out quickly to the outside. Another big play for 15 out of the backfield.
Fordham NASCARs to the line of scrimmage. First and down and 10. Wide receiver stacks either side. They give to Luffridge up the middle. Shakes a couple tackles and falling forward at the 26-yard line. A nice tackle by Forelli once again to stop what could have been a breakout run for Luffridge.
And again, we've seen Fordham in this position early on. They've had to settle for field goals when they're in this range. They're at the 26-yard line. See if they can bucket. Second and medium coming up, but Fordham yet to put it in the end zone today when they've seen the situation a couple of times early.
Second down and 6 from the opposing 26. Montez keeps himself on the read option, taking it left side, drives right into a defender, leading with the head. Now be tackled down a couple yards short of the first down, but not shying away from the tackle from Nick Chimenti, driving right into him.
Yeah, not at all. Chimenti was right there, and Montez, usually you'll see a quarterback slide, try to avoid a tackle. There he just lowers his shoulder, tries to get as much yardage as he can. Not a hit you'd like to see your quarterback take, but you have to love the enthusiasm and the aggressiveness from Montez.
3rd and 2, needing the 20. Straightaway give Luffridge. Sidesteps one tackle, but can't
Looks
shake
short.
another. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage, calling a loss of 1. And it sets up 4th and 3 and decision time for the Fordham Rams. Trailing by 1 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Do you keep the offense out there? Do you send Brandon Peskin out?
I think at the very least the offense is going to stay out there and try to draw Stony Brook offside. You know you have Peskin as a weapon to kick a 3-point field goal and get you another lead, but for now the offense staying out there.
4th and 3, needing the 20. 2 receivers either side. 7:40 and ticking on the second quarter clock. Just 6 seconds left on the play clock. A lot of confusion, and finally whistles and a timeout by Stony Brook. So Fordham letting the play clock dwindle, but it's Stony Brook that calls the timeout, their first of the game. And both sides will take some time to talk this one over. 4th down and 3. A potential big moment in this first half.
We've seen a couple of times early on where Stony Brook has adjusted their defensive position. If you go back to the first drive, they saved the touchdown by pressing a little more in coverage off the line where Cody was running a slant, and because they pressed a little more, recognizing the play that Fordham was going to run, they saved the touchdown early on. So we'll see what they end up talking over and what they end up adjusting. But once again, Montez coming out of the huddle on their side. So it looks like the offense is going to stay on the field, and a gamble here for Coach Collin in this Rams offense.
And it looks like they're going to go empty backfield. Luffridge has been the guy in 4th and short scenarios, but on 4th and 3, looks like they're going to pass this one. So 3 receivers up top, 2 down low. 4th and 3, needing the 20. Luffridge far outside right. Montez trying to get a jump from that defensive line. Claps to the snap. Stony Brook sends 4. Montez facing pressure, scrambling right. And trying to make his way to the first down, and I don't think he's going to get there. Tackled short at the 21-yard line. Nothing open for C.J. Montez. Tries to make it happen with his legs, but an excellent tackle by Anthony Forelli marks Montez just a yard short of the first down.
Well, I like Fordham keeping the offense on the field on 4th down, because when you look at the numbers, Stony Brook allows 67% of 4th down conversions, so you have to credit Fordham for being a little bit aggressive, but just not able to convert, not able to execute. Nothing open for Montez, didn't have any looks to his receiver, so he tries to take it himself, but tackled just short of the chains, and that's a tough drive where Fordham's trailing. They're trying to get back in the lead, get back into this game with 7 minutes left, and now they come up empty on that drive.
A big defensive stop for Stony Brook. Now they've got the ball at their own 21. Case in the gun, 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Fordham sends 4, throwing over the middle, brought in by Benisi at the 28-yard line.
And we've seen Stony Brook all year. They rely on their tight ends. You see a combination of Redmond and Bunisi this year. Bunisi's been one of their more utilized players at that position in 2023. There he just sits in the zone, finds a soft spot. There's enough time for Case to just deliver it to him and gain about 7 or 8 yards.
6:55 and ticking on our first half. One receiver either side, a tight end on either side of the line. Case in the gun, Dempster to his left. Snap. The draw play to Dempster, taking it up the middle, picks up the first down. Ball comes loose. Fordham on the sideline signaling that they have it. But it appears for the moment the referees will try and figure this one out. Dempster comes out of the pile with the ball. An injured Fordham player on the field now. It looks like Stony Brook able to recover the fumble there. And now Fordham checking out an injured defensive player on the field. Can't identify him just yet.
First of all, big of Dempster. Looks like he was able to recover his own fumble there and averted disaster. That would have given Fordham the ball in their own territory. And it looks to be the injured player, Eli Armstrong, just a little slow to get up. He seems to be walking off the field now, so seems to be okay. And if you're Stony Brook, you're doing okay now, because if that ball goes the other way, it gives Fordham an opportunity to score, have the ball in field goal range, but now they do a nice job getting back on it, and first of all, they pick up the first down. So they do a nice job of getting the first and averting disaster.
Fresh hit it down, 6:28 and taking on our first half. Stony Brook has the ball up to their own 33-yard line. 2 receivers down low, 1 up top, tight end right. Dempster stays out there to the left of Case. Fordham in a 4-3. Courtney pinching off the edge, now drops back in coverage. Play action, Case scrambling right with pressure. Shakes a tackle from Jaworski. A flag in the backfield, just throws out of bounds. Is Casey Case.
Yeah,
well, that's what the flag is.
That's going to be an easy hold on Sam Burkle. Got wrestled to the ground as he came through the line, so the referees immediately throw the flag, so that's going to set Stony Brook back about 10 yards.
The offensive holding sets Stony Brook back. Once again, another play with good pressure by Fordham, and yet to record a sack in this game, but they've made Casey Case's life a little uncomfortable today, and even on the touchdown pass, remarkable by how much pressure Fordham got. It's first down and 20, 6:05 left in the second quarter. 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Dempster to the right of Case. Fordham in a 4-3. Snap, play action. Case throws the near side screen, brought in by Des Williams past the 30-yard line. Gets up to the 34.
And that's a play where they're not trying to do a ton on that play particularly. They're just looking to get enough room where you can make it a manageable conversion, so they get a solid chunk of the yards back. And now you're looking at a 2nd and 9, so a nice chunk play. And that's exactly what Stony Brook was looking to accomplish.
2nd and 9, needing the 43. They'll flip the formation, 2 up top, 1 down low. Strong left on the line. Case, snap, left side give for Dempster. Cuts it back right side and nowhere to go. Nice containment by the Fordham defense. Conway, Preto, and Sam Burkle all there to make the stop. Brian, you said it before that they've used that misdirection with Dempster early in this game, and that time Fordham ready for it.
I don't know if this is a point where if you're Stony Brook, you look to get away from it, but the last couple of misdirections, Fordham has been ready for it every step of the way, and they just haven't allowed anything out of the backfield from Dempster since that big 18-yard run that he had in the first quarter.
Tallarico comes in on 3rd down and 9 to the left of Casey Case. It's trips far side, ball in the near hash, 3rd down and 9. Needing the 43. Case, the snap, looking left, facing pressure, throws off the back foot to Tallarico out of the backfield. Breaks a tackle, has the first down, still going. Shy of midfield, but very close. A big reception for Ross Tallarico, the redshirt junior.
Classic slip screen where the tailback just goes out into the flat, and they get pressure in, and then Case is just able to dump it off to Tallarico, and he has nothing but daylight ahead of him. A couple of blockers. He's able to pick up the first down, so a nicely designed play, and it sets up another first down for Stony Brook. And they haven't been good on 3rd down this year, but they pick up a big chunk play on their 3rd and long right there.
Single back formation, Case under center, Tallarico the back. 1 receiver either side. Turner comes across in motion and gets the far side end around. Trying to work outside, works up past the 50. Tackled down shy of the 45, but into Fordham territory.
And Turner is just so fast. I mean, He's going in motion. He's accelerating. Mathani Paul Swinson had a chance to get him down in the backfield, but he's just too quick where he gets Paul Swinson beat. He's able to take it to the outside, but doesn't take it for much, only 5 yards. So Fordham had some help behind Swinson where he's able to take him down and not allow the play to get too crazy, so it limits it to just a 5-yard game.
3:20 and ticking. Trips right, near side. Case in the gun. Talarico to his left. Johnson comes across to the far side in motion. And there's a flag. Looks to be illegal motion against the offense. And that negates the 5-yard run on the end around from Turner. Moves them back to 2nd down and 10.
They're going to get center Hunter Barlow on the false start. And those are the penalties that you really hate. You have a nice play where you're able to gain 5 yards, and then all of it's negated right there by a false start penalty.
So 2nd down and 10 as they're moved back into Stony Brook territory at their own 48. Case in the gun, 2 down low, 1 up top. Talarico stays out there to his right. 2:56 and ticking on our 2nd quarter clock. Snap, the throw to Jaden Cook in the backfield. Ball comes loose on a huge hit from Mark Preto. He picks it up. And the ball loose again as Preto tackled, so it looks like Stony Brook able to recover. That pass went behind the line of scrimmage, so it was a loose ball even though it wasn't a catch. Cook gets blown up behind the line of scrimmage, but on the return, Mike Courtney had the ball come loose when he was tackled, so it looks like Stony Brook able to recover after all that.
Wow, a huge hit laid on Cook right there, and it was a backwards pass, so it did end up being a fumble. I believe it was James Conway who was right there and jarred that ball loose. Just a really tough football hit. And
Brian, you can't hit someone harder than that.
But with there, he leads with the shoulder, so it is legal. It looks nasty from up here, but Cook seems to just be shaken up, but seems okay. He walked off the field, but those are ones that you're going to feel for potentially a couple of days after taking one of those.
The referees will call timeout and try and settle everything. A lot of chaos. First, a huge hit by Conway. Then the apparent fumble recovery that is then since recovered by Stony Brook on the chase down. And they're going to have to figure out the chains a little bit because this is going to be 3rd and a mile.
Yeah, this is going to be, I'm trying to do the mental math from up here, but this is about as tough of a 3rd down conversion as you're going to get here. So obviously you're in a very unenviable spot, and I don't really know what you do as an offensive play caller in these types of situations where maybe you just run the ball a couple of times, just try to get enough room for your punter. But again, like you said, 3rd down and just about to the Grand Canyon, so it's a really tough conversion coming up. But the referees going over to the monitor, looking a couple things over.
As they look things over, we'll take a quick break. 2:44 left in our first half. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Julia Moss, WFUV's 2023 New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season for game updates, pre- and post-game analysis, and special reports as Aaron Rodgers looks to lead his team to the Super Bowl in his first year in New York. Follow me on Twitter at @JuliaMoss__ for all things New York Jets.
Back with you, Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs. It's Fordham Football on WFUV Sports, and our officials still looking this play earlier if you're just joining us. Jaden Cook gets blown up in the backfield by James Conway. The ball comes loose. It's then returned by Mike Courtney, who has the ball come out when he's tackled and since recovered by Stony Brook. The referee is now looking this over to see, was the initial fumble a fumble? Maybe is Mike Courtney's fumble a fumble? There's a lot to look over here, Brian.
So you're looking at, is it a forward pass? Is it a backwards pass? But then again, a huge scrum over here where the ball was loose, and you had a lot of players just trying to get on that football. And then again, question as to whether or not Courtney fumbled the ball as he was picking it up. And you have to figure out where this ball ends up being spotted. So a lot to look at here from these officials, and they're still over there at the monitor trying to just decipher what exactly happened here on that play.
Yeah, Brian, I have a feeling that this might be one of our longer breaks of the game. Just so much happening, and through all of it, it's still a 7-6 lead for Stony Brook right now. And despite it kind of feels like a smoother first half than we've seen the last 2 weeks for the Fordham Rams, but you look up, 2:44 left in the first half, and trailing by 1. You don't have a touchdown yet, only 2 field goal drives. Defense has held strong, and if this play up stands, this would be another big play for the defensively and probably would help them getting the ball back, but has not been an idyllic first half for the Fordham Rams.
Well, I think defensively for the Fordham Rams, we saw them struggle last week against Lehigh, against a team that really struggled on offense coming into the game. Now you're looking at only 7 points on the board for Stony Brook, another team that was just really struggling to find anything on offense at all this season. And the referees look like they have made a call.
I think after all of that chaos, they're going to see that that's an incomplete pass because both the offense and defense walking back towards midfield. So I think one of the big questions was, hey, is that backwards pass? Because obviously if it's a backwards pass, automatically a fumble. If it's a forward pass, then Cook has to have possession and never had possession. It was a perfectly timed hit.
Lou, if that play doesn't get overturned and ends up being a fumble, I mean, what kind of yardage are you looking at on that third down? Third and 40, 35?
I don't want to do the math.
It was a lot, but now you're looking at...
I think the number starts with at least a 4.
Well, you're looking at now just a 3rd and 10 on the incompletion. So Stony Brook gets a break. They get a chance to reset and have a much more manageable chance for a 3rd down play.
3rd and 10, ball on their own 48, meeting the opposing 42-yard line. Case in the gun. Facing 5 pressure. Throws on the run. Incomplete. Knocked away by Mathani Paul Swinson. Darting ahead of Cal Redmond and knocking that pass down. An impressive pass breakup by the freshman. And that will force the punting unit out there for a 4th time today.
So there was a lot working well on that play for the Fordham defense. First of all, they get a nice pressure with just the 4-man rush, and then they send in 2 linebackers on a delayed blitz. So Casey has to just run outside, and then a really nice job of Mathani Paul Swinson to come in and break that play up.
Well, it's Clayton Taylor at his own 34. Cole Thornton stands at his own 19. Snap. Kicks away, but a penalty on the snap going against Fordham. The kick goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line, but Fordham pretty clearly jumped there.
Yeah, Jackson Barletta just mistimed the snap, if you will. He just steps a little too far over the line, so the referees will call an offsides, but it's only 5 yards, so it remains 4th down, and Stony Brook gets a chance to do this again, but with the 5 yards, you have to wonder if Stony Brook feels inclined to go for it. Do you keep the offense on the field? Because it does give them the option, but it looks like the punting unit is going to stay on the field, so it looks like what they're going to go for is just a better punt and a better chance to pin Fordham inside their own 10-yard line.
Well, it moves them up to the Fordham 47. And Taylor now kicking from his own 39-yard line. 2:32 left in our first half. Stony Brook a 7-6 lead. Cole Thornton back to his own 10-yard line now. Taylor angles right and boots it away. Cole Thornton up to the 16-yard line with the fair catch. And so with 2 minutes and 26 seconds left in our first quarter, the Fordham Rams, if they want a touchdown, will have to go 82 yards. At the very least, you're eyeing the 30-yard line to get into Brandon Peskin's field goal range.
Well, you saw last time where Fordham got into field goal range and they decided to keep the offense on the field. They weren't able to convert a 4th down, so it led to a turnover on downs. In the last 2 drives, they've come away with nothing in terms of points. Now you're at 2 minutes, 26 seconds left to go in the half. You got to take the points when you can here.
Trips right. Montez snap gives to Luffridge up the middle, shakes one tackle, burrowing past another, up past the 30-yard line. And right around the first down, we'll see if they give it to him. They will. Luffridge picks up 10 on that first down carry.
Luffridge has just been so effective early on in this game, averaging about 7 yards a carry. That one goes for about 11.
No huddle for the Fordham Rams. Read option, left side give Julius Luffridge, and that one snuffed out by Anthony Forelli into the backfield to force a loss of 1. And now Julius Luffridge down by the Stony Brook sideline, sitting up, but in some discomfort and grabbing at the back of that right knee. Julius Luffridge, a guy that has had a couple of injury scares throughout the year. Had to come out in the second half of Wagner, and then look at last week after his second touchdown, had to come back for a few, but was able to get back in, and it's now Luffridge sitting up and getting checked out.
And this one, you hope it's just a cramp. You see Joe Conlon going over there talking to him. He seems to be getting up, so.
Luffridge already helped to his feet and walking under his own power, albeit somewhat gingerly.
But we've seen Fordham utilize a number of running backs. You see Jacob Rodriguez over in there in huddle with the helmet on, getting a little amped up, so maybe he sees some reps out of the backfield. We've also seen Jamel James early on in this game, so Fordham, in terms of their freshman talent, they have a lot of it there at the running back position. We've seen Rodriguez and James both show flashes this season, and they're going to need again with Luffridge looking to go to the sideline.
And it's Jamel James that will come in to replace Julius Luffridge with 1:54 left in our first half. James to the left of C.J. Montez. Trips right, lone receiver on the near side, Garrett Cody. 2nd down and 10 from the 28-yard line. Montez gets the snap, looking middle, throws middle, short for Mekhi Felton at the 30-yard line, dancing outside and able to get out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A few yards short of the first down, but stops the clock.
Yeah, with that, they're going to only give Felton about 5 yards, but he ran a lot more on that play. It's a run all the way across the field, not only on the crossing route, but to get out of bounds to stop the clock as well.
3rd and 3 from the 35, needing the 38. 2 receivers either side, Felton and the tight end Jaden Allen in the slots.
This is a big play coming up here, because if you don't pick up this first down, you still give Stony Brook the ball with at least 90 seconds left on the clock.
5 D-backs for Stony Brook. James the back to the left. Snap, Montez throws into the backfield for Jamel James, but throws it behind him and incomplete. Another misconnection there for the Fordham Rams. James was open, but the throw sails behind him. And after that drive lasts less than a minute, the punting unit will have to come out here, and we'll have to see if Will Hazlitt can't put his big leg to use here, standing on his own 20-yard line.
And on that play, Fordham had Felton and MJ Wright covered up on the right side, and then your last hope is just Garrett Cody running over the middle, but there was nowhere to throw the football, so Montez just tries to dump it off to James, but unable to deliver the ball on target. So an incompletion. Fordham's going to punt again, and now Stony Brook going to talk some things over, take a timeout.
Stony Brook takes their 2nd timeout of the first half with 1:35 left in the 2nd quarter. That leaves them with just 1 timeout for the remaining 95 seconds.
And it is a little curious to see, with 1:35 left, you do have 2 timeouts. Why exactly you use one there? Because in all likelihood, you are just receiving a punt. So it's an odd time to use it, especially when you could look to keep as many of them as you can, especially late in the first half. But nonetheless, Stony Brook talks some things over the sideline, and they take the timeout, and now both teams look like they're set to return here to action.
Will Hazlitt, no stranger to flipping field positioning, set a new season high with a 57-yard punt last week, able to trap Lehigh inside their own 10. Hazlitt stands at the 20, boots it away to the far side, 23, bouncing and rolling as it takes a Fordham bounce and goes inside the 15. So another nice punt by Will Hazlitt, who leads the Patriot League in average punt distance. Able to get Stony Brook inside their own 20 with 1:27 left.
Seeing the distance that Will Hazlitt's able to get out of his punts, it's such a weapon to have as your punter, and strikes an importance on the special teams play. So now you see Stony Brook pinned at the 17-yard line, going to have to go 83 yards if you want to score a touchdown here, but they do have time, 1:27 left on the clock. They can at least get into field goal range if they're able to move the chains and pick up some first downs.
Stony Brook looking to add to their 7-6 lead. Case takes the snap. Left side give. Talarico tries to work up the middle, but not much room. Able to get a couple up to the 19-yard line. But James Conway right there for the tackle.
And Fordham's going to end up calling a timeout. So you saw Coach Collin running over to the official, calling a timeout. So it looks to be with a nice stop on that run on first down. They might be looking to try to get the ball back here, Lou.
And Fordham has forced a couple 3-and-outs in this game. The first 2 drives for Stony Brook were quick 3-and-outs. And so Fordham, with all 3 timeouts prior to this drive, as they used one there, can certainly get the ball back with some time to drive down the field and set up a field goal if they're able to get a 3-and-out here.
It's going to be tough. You've seen Casey Case look a lot more comfortable in the pocket than we're used to seeing him this year. Quarterback rating of 142, 123 yards, and a touchdown on 12 of 18 completion percentage. So he's done a really nice job today, been effective throwing the football. And again, he has a chance to move Stony Brook down the field and get some points on the board before the end of the half.
2nd and 7 from their own 19. Right side give, Ryan Dempster. Stephen Williams tries to wrap him up. He shakes that one, but Preto right there to take him down at the line of scrimmage. Strong look off the edge from the Fordham Rams defense. Conway helping out as well. And that will set up a 3rd down and long as Fordham able to stop the run game for Stony Brook, and they call another timeout.
And Fordham's rush defense has done a nice job really all season long, and you see it there, recognizing the run to the outside, and they had nowhere to go. A swarm of maroon helmets just there to bring down the back in the backfield. So with there, Fordham calls another timeout, so they have 1 remaining. And I'm a little surprised to see Stony Brook play this so conservative, where you have enough time on the clock if you want to move it down the field. And then to start, you have 2 carries to your running back, so not exactly looking to stop the clock. And those plays didn't go anywhere, and they're leaving Fordham, again, another chance with a dynamic offense as they have to get the ball back with still some time left on the first half clock.
3rd down and 7. They need the 27-yard line. Ball in the near hash. Case takes the snap, facing pressure off the edge. Hit as he throws, but converts to Cal Redmond past the 40-yard line, up to the 45. Cal Redmond, the 3rd down reception. Not only picks up the 1st down, gets them just shy of midfield.
Well, I don't know if Fordham was expecting them to pull that out of the playbook. So Stony Brook picks up a 1st down. The clock stops because they have to move the chains. And now the Seawolves set up close to midfield.
Trips far side. Fordham using those timeouts might work against them. Case looking right, throws right. Jaden Cook jukes past the defender, working up past the 30. Ball comes out. And Nathaniel Paul Swinson looked like he recovered it, but was he in bounds when he did? And that's going to be the question.
It's very close. I don't know if he got it, Lou, but the referees are talking this one over.
The ball flew out of the hands of Jaden Cook, but was already by the near sideline. Nathaniel Paul Swinson making a ground, trying to get there.
And man, if Fordham would be able to come away with that takeaway, you'd be able to keep the score where it was going into the half. But now this drive continues for Stony Brook. And how about that run? Aside from the fumble, Jaden Cook, a really nice job. He was uncovered, made a nice cut too. And now Stony Brook set up in the red zone, and still plenty of time, 38 seconds left. So they have a chance to put it in the end zone. They're knocking on the door.
But first, the referees are going to go back and review that play. As it stands right now, Stony Brook has the ball at the Fordham 19. That's where the ball went out of bounds after the fumble. Jaden Cook had plenty of space and worked up to the 30 as he was hit. Ball flew out and went up another 10 yards. And so the referees will take a look at this and see if Swinson was able to recover that inbounds.
It was very close. Could have gone either way, and it just shows how important just getting every inch on the field is. You saw Swinson just do his best to corral that ball before he got to the sideline, but on the field, they say he's not able to do it. Now it's just going to come down to, is there conclusive enough evidence to say that Paul Swinson was able to corral this? They are showing the replay on the big screen. We haven't seen a good angle yet, but this one, it was close, so they're going to take a long look at this.
Jaden Cook was chased down by Stephen Williams. He was able to punch the ball out, and this one is certainly close.
And you could see that he was maybe able to get a hand on the ball before he went out of bounds, but I think something they're going to look at is when exactly did he get control of the football, and that's going to be the question. Did he get it as he was going to the ground? Are they going to say that him fingertipping it was enough to say that he did have control of the ball? There's a lot of questions that come into play here, so there's a lot that has to be answered, and this is close because this is a big play at the end of the half that could dictate if there's a score at the end of the half, if Fordham gets a takeaway. So there's a lot going on here and a big play for both sides.
Well, as we wait, make sure to stay right here once the first half is over. The one-on-one halftime show with Madi, Dembele, and Will Jing. We're still 41 seconds away from the end of the first half. Brian, you bring up a good point about, I think Swinson, no doubt that he makes contact with the ball inbounds. But the bigger question is, did he have possession when he was inbounds? And to my naked eye, didn't think so.
Yeah, on the field, I didn't think he was able to get that ball inbounds either, but obviously it's closer than we initially thought because they're taking a long look at this and look like they're ready to make a call.
They're looking as to where the ball was fumbled. So no question that Swinson did not have the fumble recovery, but they're going to say that the ball was fumbled at the 28, so that moves Stony Brook back a few yards. They had it out of bounds at the 19, but it's not, you don't get the ball where it goes out of bounds, you get the ball where it's fumbled.
Well, referring to that play, that's another big first down for Stony Brook, and you're looking at a team that ranked 14th in the CAA in first downs all season, so Fordham allowing some big plays and Stony Brook picking up first downs.
1st and 10 from the 28. Case, end zone shot near side. Caught by Jaden Cook, but looked like out of bounds. And incomplete signals the official. Cook able to make the over-the-shoulder catch, but tight coverage by Nahil Perkins along that far side.
Yeah, Perkins in coverage has been rock solid out there all season long. And just once again there, not allowing much for the receiver in terms of separation. And able to just get enough contact in there to force the incompletion, force Cook out of bounds, and prevents a touchdown.
2nd and 10 from the 28. 29 seconds left in the first half. Fordham in a 4-3 with 4 D-backs. Case. Play fake throws over the middle. Brought in inside the 10. Anthony Johnson, the leaping grab. Able to withstand a hit from Mark Preto and Andrew Osman, but makes the catch and goes down at the 8-yard line.
And a really nice, tough physical catch by Johnson there, knowing he's going to get hit. He ends up taking it, and a really nice play. So now
there's the spike from Stony Brook, but remember the clock stops because they had to move the chains.
So they had to move the chains, so the clock stopped. And then now, instead of using a timeout, Case just ended up spiking the ball. So you have 3 plays right now in a goal-to-go situation. And Stony Brook, it would be huge if they're able to get a touchdown on the board here. You know they're going for the end zone. Potentially go up by 8 going into the halftime locker room.
Stony Brook leads 7-6 right now. 2nd and goal from the 7. Ball in the near hash. 2 receivers up top, 1 down low. Case takes a snap, looks right, throws right, incomplete, looking for Anthony Johnson. Tight coverage from Nahil Perkins.
It's Perkins again in the end zone. We've seen him do really nice, not in coverage, but particularly in these red zone situations where we've seen teams target him at the goal line. He's just done a really nice job all season long of staying composed and not allowing the situation to get too big. He's done a really nice job. And Fordham looking to stay strong here. 3rd down. We'll see if Stony Brook keeps the offense on the field for 4th, but right now as it stands, a big play coming up.
3rd down and goal from the 7. 3 receiver tight end set. Snap. Case looks left, throws left. A diving grab by Cole Redmond. Did he get into the end zone? They'll say he's just short. A half-yard short of the end zone.
And the clock's not going to stop, so Stony Brook needs to use a timeout. And they're going to do
and
that.
They will. Also
injured
an
Fordham
player in the backfield and looks to be in a great deal of pain. That appears to be, it's like Mark Preto lying on his back.
And
he's in quite a lot of pain, it seems. Almost had to be wrestled down to the ground. He's writhing so much.
It looked like either he was writhing or trying to get up, and they were forcing him to stay down. But either way, there's a lot of medical staff attending to him right now. So a lot of people out there. This doesn't look good on the surface.
Showing the replay, Preto got his legs taken out from him. And a little chip block from the tight end. Kind of got flipped over, fell awkwardly.
And Preto's been such an impact player from the linebacker position for Fordham this year. He's got 44 tackles on the year. He's really stepped up in his first year as a starter. Been a really nice complementary piece to James Conway on that defense. And he's just been so good all season long. And it hurts to see him down on the field with the way he's been productive this year.
And Brian, we've talked about it all season long. The sophomore Preto stepping up for Ryan Greenhagen, who graduated, tied for the all-time program lead in tackles, and Credo unable to put any pressure on his right foot, having to be escorted to the sideline, and that's a sight you hate to see, Brian. That looks like a bad injury.
Yeah, you don't like to see. You've seen a couple of injuries where players are able to walk off, but here, Preto is not able to put any pressure on his right leg whatsoever. So he's being helped off now by a couple of his teammates, but that's a concerning sign for Fordham. And it hurts after just getting a huge stop short of the goal line on that play.
It's been such a fantastic season for Mark Preto so far, and obviously we don't know what the injury is yet. But he certainly will not be in for this play.
Well, how about Stony Brook keeping the offense on the field with 1 yard to go?
4th and goal, just inches to go. Case under center, Talarico the back behind him. Fordham loading the box. It's the push from Case, the QB sneak. Did he get in? We're waiting for the referee's signal. And they're going to say short. Fordham, the goal line stand. A huge stop from the Fordham Rams. 4th and inches, the QB sneaker from Casey Case. And the Fordham defensive front holds strong with 5 seconds to go in the first half.
What a stop from this Fordham defense. You see Stony Brook set up really nicely at the 1 yard line. Just need a nice push from the offensive line up front to get Case into the end zone. But Fordham wins the line of scrimmage. They get some pressure initially, and Case just is not able to get the ball across the goal line. So he's not able to break the plane, and Fordham, a huge stop on defense towards the end of this half. So they got to go into the halftime locker room feeling pretty good. If this play ends up standing, they are reviewing it as we speak. But if this stands, Fordham goes into the locker room coming off of a very good play, and they do get the ball to start the second half.
There's 5 seconds left in the first half. If the play stands, Fordham might have to be careful about a safety because they do have to run a play, and they are just inches away from their own end zone.
It's very close. I mean, this is not a place that you'd like to be in. But
that play was the play on 4th down was like brotherly shove-esque, right? Just have Case there, the entire team behind him, and just both sides pushing right at each other. But it looked like the Fordham defensive front able to hold strong.
Well, regardless, it is very close, and it's going to come down to whether the official can see where the ball was.
And they're going to say that Case was short. It's a turnover on downs, and the Fordham sideline erupts.
Well, listen, we've talked about this Fordham defense in recent weeks and how they haven't really been able to get the job done. Early in games, they've been allowing big plays and looked a little sluggish, but here, today, they look awesome. They've done a really nice job of playing really physical on defense, a lot of big hits, some really nice tackles, and then that's a really nice high-intensity play where they're able to win the line of scrimmage, create a huge stop, and that's a huge difference in the game. You're looking at 7-6 compared to potentially 14-6 going to the halftime locker room. Now Montez just going to have to kneel it from his 1-inch yard line.
Heavy set formation. Montez will bull rush up the line of scrimmage to avoid the safety, and that will do it for our first half. It's Stony Brook ahead 7-6 in a close-knit affair, and Brian, the Fordham defense shining through one half. Can't say the same about the offense. Montez, 8 of 18 for 64 yards. Really the lone bright spot. Julius Luffridge, 12 carries, 79 yards. But this Fordham offense has not been able to do much against the worst defense in the CAA.
Yeah, I've been really surprised to see Fordham just not able to do much in the passing game. I mean, you talk about the lack of defense that Stony Brook has had all season long, 35 points allowed per game, but particularly they really struggle in the passing game. When you look at 278 yards allowed, they do get takeaways, but we haven't seen any of that today. So Fordham just hasn't been able to move the ball, and credit to a couple of corners that they have, particularly Lewenski Nicholas, who's been targeted a lot. He's done a really nice job in coverage of Garrett Cody, not allowing anything down the field. And Fordham, the way it stands right now, no touchdowns in the first half. Montez just 64 yards through the air, less than 50% completion percentage. And again, the offense has been struggling early on in this game, and we're seeing, again, a slow start that has kind of carried over from the last couple of weeks.
Credit to that defense. Could have been a lot worse. The big drive in the last minute and a half from the Stony Brook offense. They get inside the 1 yard line, a half yard away from the goal, but a defensive stand on 4th down to force the turnover. So the lead stands right now just 1 point for the Stony Brook Seawolves, but a much closer affair than I think Fordham anticipated and the Fordham fans anticipated. That'll do it for us in the first half. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Madi Dembele and Will Jing.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Come one, come all. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Madi Dembele, welcome you to Fordham Football's halftime report. Once again, I am Madi Dembele, and guys, we have an interesting game in Long Island, I gotta tell you. Fordham and Stony Brook do battle as the Seawolves, cool name, I gotta admit, lead the Fordham Rams 7-6, one single point. Lots of goodies to bite into, rather. But first, an appetizer. Will Jing joins me in studio with some updates from around the world of college football. Will, take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's week 7 of college football. This week in the Patriot League, Georgetown defeated Lehigh 17-7 and Bucknell defeated Cornell 21-13. During the second quarter of this Fordham versus Stony Brook game, Colgate finished off their overtime win over Dartmouth 27-24. Elsewhere in college football, Utah is up on Cal 14-7. Penn State is beating UMass 14-0. Oklahoma State is up 17-13 on Kansas, and Texas A&M is tied with Tennessee at 7 apiece. Washington is beating Oregon 22-15 in Seattle, where Bo Nix's Oregon offense has had more success with the running game than the passing game. On the other hand, Washington is having more success with their passing game with 183 passing yards. Michael Penix Jr., the QB, has already thrown 2 touchdowns for Washington. However, in comparison, they only have 71 rushing yards. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Will Jing.
All right, welcome back to studio, guys. Will, thank you so much. Before we get into our analysis of the game, I have a few highlights that we wanted to go over here from the game. Again, we're having a wonderful game here, so just a few highlights. So the first one that I have is after 9 plays and 73 yards, Brandon Peskin, who's coming off the game of his life, drills the 29-yard field goal to open up the scoring 3-0 5 minutes into the game, giving Fordham the lead.
Here's the last week's hero on for the 29-yarder. Brandon Peskin sinks it through the uprights. Fordham takes a 3-0 lead with 9:23 left in the first quarter.
A bit of parity as we move to our second highlight. Peskin continues to show off his range, converting a second field goal from 43 yards out, extending Fordham's lead to 6-0.
A 43-yard attempt for Brandon Peskin on the near hash. Snap the hold. Peskin's kick is up. And through the upright, Brandon Peskin once again.
After 2 Fordham field goals, Stony Brook is able to show a pulse as Casey Case evades the pressure to deliver a 29-yard dot for the game's first touchdown. The extra point gives Stony Brook an abrupt 1-point lead.
Case the snap, blitz off the edge from Mike Courtney. Case rolling right, throws on the run into the end zone, touchdown Stony Brook. Anthony Johnson, the basket catch. What a play from Casey Case to extend that and get it into the end zone.
I got to tell you, if you are a fan of Fordham football, that's never the celebration. That's never the sign that you want to hear, the celebration in the crowd at Stony Brook. Will, I got to bring you in here. I personally think after watching that first half that the main problem with the Fordham Rams, as Lou and Ryan beautifully articulated, was the offense, right? Complete lack of complementary football. CJ Montas and the gang are unable to put points on the board. Just that simple. Yes, Fordham has been able to put up field goals, right? They were able to get the team into field goal range, and they've been able to deliver that courtesy of, again, Brandon Peskin. But the Rams are still looking for their big break, right? They're still looking for that one big touchdown. They're still looking to put that defense on edge, which is, by the way, the worst defense, 35 points per game, as you heard towards the end there. CJ Montas, 8 of 18, 64 yards. Less than a 50% completion percentage. Julius Ruffridge, who was looking to be that main power back for this coming into the season, 12 carries for only 79 yards. A lot of volume, but he's not able to get anything there. I think the main culprit for that is the offensive line, right? They're not holding their guys. CJ Montas is not able to get into his progressions, rather, and he's running, but he's running nowhere, right? Julius Ruffridge had a 49-yard run, then nothing. He's losing yards on some runs, maybe his 4 yards here and there. I got to get you in here because, again, the defense has been playing well.
Yeah,
what do you think is the main
it's definitely a slow start for the Rams, especially coming off of last week where they scored 38 points, with a game-winning field goal to top it off. Obviously, Brandon Peskin has carried that how do I say this, that hot streak almost over to this game. He's doing a good job, knocked down 2 good field goals. CJ Montes, I don't know what's going on. 44% completion rate is not good. Because on the other hand, you have Casey Case for Stony Brook, 203 passing yards with a 67% completion rate and double the rating. So that's just a massive difference. And, just looking at that alone, you're surprised that Fordham has stuck in this game. Fortunately, the defense has put up some decent stops that limited Stony Brook to 7. But at this rate, the defense could only do so much. The offense does have to put some more points on the board, obviously down 1. Actually, Julius Luffridge, he has 98 rushing yards.
98 rushing yards.
So I think that, continuing from last week, he's kind of the highlight of this offense. If you're comparing yardage, Fordham has 64 passing yards to Stony Brook's 203, but Fordham has 131 rushing yards in total compared to Stony Brook's 41. So that's obviously been helping them get down the field to set up Brandon Peskin for field goals. But, I just don't know what's going on in terms of the passing game. That's something that definitely needs to be fixed up. I think Julius Luffridge, like we saw last week, he's always going to be there. He's always going to do his thing. But I think passing-wise, that's what needs to change if Fordham wants to win this game.
We're running the football effective, right? We have Julius Luffridge back there, really good back. But what's the point if we're not being able to put up scores? I think, again, and you point out C.J. Montas, again, I urge you back to the offensive line, right? You got to block first. That's the most important thing. Blindside protection, up the middle, it doesn't matter. C.J. Montez, excuse me for the mispronunciation, he needs protection there. I point you to the defense because that was a pretty good point, right? Fordham forced a fumble. Eli Washington was taken off the field. They put pressure even on Stony Brook's scoring drive. They were able to put pressure on that pass, right? He has to roll out and he has to deliver the pass. Very beautiful pass, but still pressure there. They sent Stony Brook's offense back on a holding call. They're stuffing their run game. Mark Preto, prayers for him. 6'2", 220. Nice complimentary piece for James Conway. 44 tackles on the year. Blows up Cook. Casey Case is generally uncomfortable. Nahil Perkins has been rock solid all year. And the goal line stop at the end. How impressive is that? This Fordham defense has been carrying. It's a Fordham defense that has a lot of criticism coming into the season. But again, I go back to the point of complementary football. Eventually, this defense has so much. They can only do so much. This Fordham offense has to be able to put up points. They have to be able to offset and balance this attack.
I will say, just looking at the defense, though, they did force 2 fumbles. They didn't recover either one.
I didn't even mention
that. I think that if they can find a way to capitalize when they're able to get, those hits that force a fumble, if they can get a pick, that would help. Obviously, the defense has been solid.
More than solid.
Yeah, all around. So I'm thinking that if they can step it up a little bit as well, I think that, even despite the fact that Fordham's offense has been kind of lacking, that could also give them a boost. So it's kind of, right now as we're seeing, Fordham's defense is solid and their rushing is solid and their passing is bleh. But if you can get either the defense or the running game to step it up to really good, or you can get the passing game to be at least okay, then that's what's going to win them this game. It's just, can you do the little things like you mentioned, the offensive line, which is, I feel, such an underrated component of
one
the game.
One of the big things, actually, I would say.
Because people are always like the quarterback, they're looking at the defensive backs, they're looking at, the defensive tackles, the running backs, the wideouts, these types of players, but nobody really, I shouldn't say nobody, but much less attention is given to the guys that ultimately, at least in my opinion, determine the survival of a team in a game. Because you have no offensive line,
you have nothing.
You don't have anything. Because you could have a garbage everything else. At least if you have an offensive line,
not garbage, I wouldn't say.
Well, what I'm saying
supplementary is, around the offensive line, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the offensive line is so crucial that if that's not there, then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
So I think that's big, and Fordham just something needs to improve, because this Stony Brook team, they're not that great right now. They shouldn't be so hard to beat for this Fordham team that just took out Lehigh 38-35 last week.
Stony Brook, to their credit, they're definitely surprising a lot of people. When you say that Fordham's defense needs to make a stop, I definitely agree, right? We forced, I want to say now, 2 fumbles.
Yes.
Is it? Yes. And then, again, towards the end of that first half, an amazing stop at the goal line. Like, kudos to the Fordham defense. But football's a game of attrition, right? It's as the game goes on who can hit at the right time. This Fordham defense has done practically everything to keep their heads above water, which is the only reason why we're still in this game, 6-7. How many beautiful stops have they had? Now, you urge a fumble recovery, you urge an interception, but the odds of that going deeper into the game, where they're the only reason that Fordham's even in the game, again, that attrition the fact that they're going to get tired every single time that they step on the field, I implore this Fordham offense. I put it directly all on the offense. This is a defense that had criticisms coming into the year, and look at how they're balling out in this game. I implore the Fordham offense to start moving the football.
Well, I'm not blaming the defense.
Not at all. I get that.
I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that if they can give that little extra boost,
Sure.
if they can be not just good, if they can be great, then maybe you don't have CJ Montez that could take the pressure off of him.
Mm-hmm. It's like a chain reaction almost.
Yes, and you know, but it's also, you know, at the same time, despite the efforts of the defense, even if the defense does make it great, they still have to score at least one more time to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
So something needs to step up, as we've been saying. And you know, the live stats actually updated. Julius Loveridge actually had 102 yards, and that's an average of almost 8 yards a carry. So he's doing a solid job for what he's getting. But it's just something needs to click in this offense. Something that makes it so that it's not just, you know, slow and sluggish. Something needs to happen. They need to have a drive where they're moving the sticks. You know, they're getting a lot of good plays in a row. They're chaining things together and turn the momentum in their favor, because right now they didn't score at all in the second quarter. And a lot of times sports are a game of momentum, as you saw last week, where it was just, you know, I think Lehigh was the one that jumped out first, and Fordham, then back and forth. So
reference,
if they could do that with this game, where they can completely swing the momentum, because they were the only team to score in the first quarter. Stony Brook was the only team to score in the second quarter. So if they can swing this half of the game back into their favor, then I think that does a huge amount for them in terms of their odds to win the game.
Absolutely. And speaking a little bit to the Stony Brook Seawolves, again, I got to mention, what a cool name. Casey Case. Love that name. 16 of 24, 203 yards, 1 touchdown is what I'm reading off his stats as. I mean, he's looking off defenders. I mean, he's evading pressure. Again, Fordham's defense has been able to provide fantastic pressure on him. Rolls out, I want to say, to his right and delivers a dart to the back of the end zone. I mean, he's balling. Right, Dempster 8 carries for 34 yards. A. Johnson. It seems like a collective effort, as you talked about, Will, and as I'm trying to reiterate as well. It's that collective effort. Everybody's taking care of each other, right? It's a 52-man roster. Everybody gets on the field. You got to take care of each other. And again, this also points me to my Mark Preto point. Next man up. Let's see who's going to take his place, because again, he's been balling this entire year. He's been an impact player even in this game. So for Fordham facing adversity in the situation that they are, I'm interested to see how they do in the second half of this football game.
Yeah, no, you point out Casey Case and how well he's playing, and we briefly mentioned it earlier. I think if there's one thing that we could pick out about the defense, other than the fact that they haven't capitalized on their forced fumbles, is the fact that Casey Case is just going off. He's playing like somebody who should be playing in a Power 5 conference now. And I think that's something where the defense, I think actually this more than the forced fumbles. I mean, 203 yards. I'm surprised that 203 yards only resulted in 1 touchdown. So
yeah, usually 2, 3.
So yeah, I mean, they going into the second half, they need to be aware that, look, this is the guy that's lighting us up. And you know, in terms of rushing, the player with the most amount of rushing yards is only 34 rushing yards for Stony Brook, and total is only 41.
All hands on deck. They're getting
exactly.
guys involved.
So that means that, you know, the linemen are doing something right. The linebackers probably helping out with that. But in terms of the passing game, then you need to really watch out. Anthony Johnson has 81 receiving yards right now, and then you have, you know, I can read it off, 40, 37. You know, you have a bunch of guys. So I think that's going to be the focal point that Fordham's got to focus on.
We're going to get back to this second half. Enough of us. Well, enough of me. I know you guys love Will. I'm going to send it back to the wonderful Lou Orlando and Brian Rabacs with the second half of this game. Gentlemen.
Madi, Will, thank you guys so much. We're back with you at Kenneth B. Lavelle Stadium in Stony Brook, Long Island. Stony Brook ahead 7-6 after 1 half of play. Brian, I think in many ways a frustrating first half for the Fordham offense. And we both said it off the air at halftime. That's probably the worst CJ Montez has looked at all.
Yeah, it hasn't looked great in all aspects of the offense. Aside from the run game, they just haven't been able to do anything in the passing game so far. They're just not what we're used to seeing out of CJ Montez this year. 8 for 18, just 64 yards in the air. No interceptions, no touchdowns. So they haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone. They're not moving the ball as effectively as we used to. And we're also not seeing him spread the ball the way that we saw him last week. Hit 8 different targets this week. It's been a lot of targeting there. He's got 9 targets in this game. Kai Felton has a couple of receptions. But one thing that we noted at halftime is that we haven't called MJ Wright's name today. He hasn't even gotten the ball to him, let alone targeted him. So it's been a real tough struggle to get the ball to your playmakers, and that's a big reason why we're struggling in the passing game coming into the second half.
Just 18, 64 yards, no touchdowns. Really, when you look at the offense, the lone bright spot is Julius Luffridge, 13 carries, over 100 yards in the first half, 102 yards on the ground. Hey, Luffridge is a guy that loves to run against Stony Brook. You look at last year, 9 runs for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you want to do some mathematics out there, that's 12.3 yards per carry to you. So Julius Luffridge, a guy that likes to run against Stony Brook, and he's averaging 7.8 yards a half. But outside of him, I'm not seeing a ton from the Fordham offense, and that's been something we've seen time and time again. Like, I think, especially the last few weeks, think about Georgetown, think about the Lehigh, really low action first half for these Fordham offenses. We've seen sparks. That's the thing that keeps you buying. And you think about that fourth quarter against Lehigh, the drives that they put together, but it just hasn't been consistent. They've really had trouble starting games, especially offensively, and that's clearly been an issue today.
Yeah, we saw that Georgetown, you only had the 1 touchdown in the first half, even dating back to Stonehill, where you only had 10 points on the board in the first half of action. So there's a lot that's gone wrong, and it's not necessarily more of the fact that the Stony Brook defense is making plays and putting C.J. Montez in tough situations. We've literally seen C.J. Montez stand back there and just miss a couple of throws. He's had some trouble with accuracy early on in this first half, and he also hasn't been sacked. So it's not like the pocket's collapsing on him and he has to throw the ball away. He's put in tough situations. He's had the time, but he just hasn't been able to do it. And it's surprising with the way that Luffridge is running the ball and the way that Joe Conlon always talks about establishing the run and how that will always open up the passing game. It can help with more play actions and create more versatility in the offense. But the running game has been great so far today, but the passing game just hasn't been able to flow in the same way. So it's been a struggle, but Fordham does have the ball to start the second half, and you're going to need to see a difference. You're going to need to see an adjustment. We've seen that in recent weeks. Now it's just about, can they do it again?
And, Brian, punch me in the face if you've heard this one before. The Fordham Rams are playing football on a rainy, overcast day, but you really can't blame the weather, right? Ever since the first quarter, the rain's kind of stopped. It's still overcast, but we don't have a ton of rain, so can't blame weather for what's been a poor passing first half so far. Turn to the defensive side. Hey, give credit to Fordham defensively stopping the run game of Stony Brook. We knew coming in they have a ton of backs that they can go to, 4 backs with over 20 carries coming into this game. It's been Dempster that's taken lead back carries, and he's only got 34 yards. The problem is that Casey Case has thrown for over 200 yards in the first half, and that's really how Stony Brook's been able to move offensively.
Yeah, a lot of the focus was on the run game and what these running backs can do, and can Fordham adjust to the different looks that they provide out of the backfield, when in reality it's been the passing game that's carried this Stony Brook offense to where they're at. They're at 203 yards in the air in the first half, and you look at some of their game logs, we see a couple of games where they're not even getting 200 in a whole game, let alone in just 2 quarters of play. So Casey Case, he's coming off a great week his last time out against Maine, where he threw 4 touchdown passes to go along with 348 yards. So he's been really effective and building nicely off a really strong performance, and this is the quarterback that Stony Brook thought that they were getting when they brought him in as a transfer from Buffalo and the FBS. And the thing that's been talked about with him is his accuracy and his strong arm. And we saw that on the touchdown to Anthony Johnson earlier in the game. He just does a nice job going outside the pocket, staying composed, and delivering his passes to his receivers, even in tough situations, too. So he's done a really nice job, and he impressed last week and looks just as impressive again this week, if not better.
Curious to see how the Fordham defense responds. Probably not likely that we're going to see Mark Preto in this second half. Came out at the end of the first half with what appeared to be a very bad injury. Couldn't put any pressure on his right leg. And Brian, we've talked all season long about how important he's been for that linebacker unit. Second in team tackles behind James Conway. And, you have Jackson Barletta, a senior linebacker that could step up and fill that void. But Mark Preto's been phenomenal this year. And Preto's been a big job of what Fordham's done today, stopping the run game. That I think something to watch for in the second half is does Stony Brook have more success running the football?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Fordham uses Preto in the second half. Now, something encouraging for the listeners that are Fordham fans, Mark Preto is on the sideline, and he does seem to be engaging with his teammates, and he does have his helmet on. So a lot better of a sign than we saw at the end of the first half, where he was really slow to get up and didn't put any weight on his ankle. Now, but does he go back in the game? Does he go in on a tape job? We'll see. But a lot of questions to be answered, but Fordham going to get the ball first.
Well, it's Stony Brook set to kick to start this second half. Kicking right to left, kicks away from Bisco. All the way into the Fordham end zone. A touchback. Fordham starts this third quarter at their own 25. Trailing by 1. And already some commotion along the Stony Brook sideline after the fact. Looks like some jawing from both sides.
Well, this is a chance for the Fordham offense to flip the page in the second half of action. I mean, the first half, that's the first half. You have to reset and figure out what went wrong in that first half and how we can adjust it. We talked to Coach Collin a couple weeks ago, and he said it's all about what did you see from the defense, what kind of reads were they given, what wasn't working, what can we do to adjust. So we'll see what halftime adjustments can be made, and we'll see if Fordham can open up the passing game because we haven't seen that so far.
Montez in the gun, Luffridge offset right, 2 receivers up top, 1 down low. Starting this drive at the 25, play action, far side screen, Mekhi Felton jukes 1 tackle, gets up near the 30, brought down right there after a gain of 5.
And those are a couple of screen passes that we saw Fordham run on their first drive where they took it in to Stony Brook territory. That one didn't go for much, but Fordham going back to their game plan that they had early on.
Second down and 5. Now at the 30-yard line. 2 up top, 1 down low. Montez claps the snap. Play action, looks left, throws left. Shoestring catch, Mekhi Felton at the first down. So 2 catches for Mekhi Felton, 10 yards. And Fordham moves the chains.
And they had Cody running upfield, just setting up a nice out route for Mekhi Felton. The defenders bit on the Cody route, so Felton was open, gets the out route, and picks up a first.
Trips near side. It's Jaden Allen on the line. Felton and MJ Wright off the line. Fresh set of downs at the 35. Montez straightaway give to Julius Luffridge. Met at the backfield, shakes 1 tackle, rolls forward for a couple. Credit Anthony Forelli with the final tackle.
Just so impressive to see Luffridge get all these yards after contact. Initially hit in the backfield, but is able to shake a tackler and take it up for 2 yards. So that's the difference from a loss and a gain. And Julius Luffridge does such a good job making defenders miss, and he's able to get a positive yardage there.
13-40 in the third quarter. Play action. Montez looking deep. Now rolls right, facing pressure. Shovels forward for Luffridge at the 40. Sidesteps the tackle. Gets to midfield. Knocked out of bounds right there. A 15-yard pass and catch from C.J. Montez to Julius Luffridge. Getting it done in the run game in the first half, now enters the game in the pass.
Well, Montez had a clean pocket on that play, and he stood in there for a while. He wanted to see if the route in the middle of the field deep to MJ Wright was going to be open. It wasn't, so he takes it and settles and dumps it off to Luffridge.
Straightaway give, Luffridge burrowing forward past the 45 up to the 43. Finally brought down. That's Forelli again after a gain of 7.
Luffridge again, over 100 yards on the day. He's been a workhorse in the first half and carrying a brunt on the second half. He's going to step out for the moment, so Jamel James will be in the backfield. But Fordham doing a nice job picking up some first downs on this drives and moving into Stony Brook territory.
James offset light, trips far side. Second down and 4. Montez give to James, right side, tripped right around the 40-yard line.
It looks like the wet field conditions might have played in there because it looked like James just slipped and fell. It looked like he could have gone for a little more, but just got his feet caught underneath him and just went down, setting up a third down coming up for Fordham.
Third down and 3 at the Stony Brook 42. They need the 39. 2 up top, 1 down low, a tight end on the line. James offset left. Montez claps to the snap. Right side give, James up the middle, bursting forward past the first down marker, up to the 38-yard line. And Jamel James's helmet comes off after the play as he takes a big hit. And he'll come off, Julius Luffridge back on.
When you have a running back room like Fordham does, you can turn to it in a situation like there on a 3rd and short. We saw that a lot last week with Luffridge, and we're seeing it there with James.
First down and 10, 12:50 and ticking. Montez looking left, pump fakes, throws over the middle. Jaden Allen, the head-high catch at the 20. Up for 5 more yards, chase down tackle. But Fordham into the red zone on that reception by Jaden Allen.
Really nice job from Montez, pump faking. The 2 defenders bit on the pump, so it allowed Allen to get open further as he runs the crossing route. Montez waits, he delivers, and picks up a first down. A really nice play recognition and pump fake there from C.J. Montez to Jaden Allen.
Montez in the gun. 2 up top, 1 down low. MJ Wright, the lone receiver on the near side. Luffridge the back to the left. Montez keeps on the read option, throws the left side. Mekhi Felton screen pass. Jukes right, a flag comes out. Felton into the end zone, touchdown Fordham, but we'll have to check the flag.
Felton is just so shifty with the ball in his hands, and a nice decision from CJ Montez. Looks like they're initially running a read option, but he ends up throwing the ball. But unfortunately for Fordham, this play is coming back.
This is Garrett Cody. The penalty on that screen pass. The second time today that Fordham's been penalized on a screen pass. That wipes out what would have been a 15-yard touchdown from Mekhi Felton. They'll walk this back 15 yards. So all of a sudden, first down and 25 for the Fordham Rams. Ball on their own 30.
Well,
They
we've talked
need the
about
5 for the first down.
Talked about penalties. Fordham, the most penalized team in the Patriot League. It's been kept to a minimum today, but that's one that's going to cost them a lot of yards, and that one's really going to hurt.
Cody called for offensive pass interference. So first and 25 from the 30, 11:06 left in the third. It's 2 receivers either side, Luffridge offset left. Montez give to Luffridge, bounces it outside and working up past the 25. Finally brought down the 23-yard line by Aiden Kaler.
So there, Luffridge gains 5 on the carry. So with there, you're just looking to see if he can gain a chunk, because now they're at the 25-yard line. They're in field goal range for Brandon Peskin. If they don't pick up this first down, they do have a chance to put 3 on the board.
A gain of 5, 2nd and 20. Jamel James offset right. Play fake. Montez looking middle, brought down in the backfield. A gigantic sack by that defensive front. Davon Bomar coming in and throwing Montez to the ground.
Yeah, Bomar bringing in pressure off the edge, transfer from Coastal Carolina. And we talked about how Montez had a clean pocket really for a lot of the first half. Not there. Bomar just comes in immediately, brings him down. That's a big sack. So now you're looking at a long third down conversion, 3rd and 32. And you'd have to imagine Fordham's just going to take something underneath here and try to get a manageable field goal for Brandon Peskin.
It's a 49-yarder right now. Montez takes the snap, steps up, looking left, throws left. Garrett Cody at the 16-yard line, out of bounds right there. He's knocked out, but that will make a much more manageable field goal attempt for Brandon Peskin here on 4th and 12.
And they went a lot further than I was initially anticipating. I thought they had Jamel James just running underneath. Thought they would just dump it to him, see how many yards he can get. But they actually run a nice little out route to the sideline for Garrett Cody. He's able to pick up a good chunk of yards. And now, like you said, a much more manageable kick for Brandon Peskin.
This, a 35-yarder from the far hash. Snap the hold. Kick is blocked at the line. Stony Brook gets a hand on it and knocks it down. Fordham falls on it in the end zone. See what the official ruling is. Peskin's kick blocked at the line. Kick also might have rolled out of bounds.
I believe I saw one of the officials initially rule touchback.
That's what it's going to be.
But for Fordham, that was a chance to not only get points on the drive, but put yourself back in the lead. And that was a very manageable field goal for Peskin. And that was the objective of the third down play, to get them in a position where that field goal is attestable. Now that kick gets blocked. Credit to the special teams unit of Stony Brook for making the play. That's a huge play to keep them in the lead, and a really tough one to swallow for this Fordham offense.
With 9:22 left in the third quarter, Brandon Peskin's 35-yard attempt is blocked. Stony Brook keeps a 1-point lead. And we'll take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey guys, it's Nick Palmer, your New York Islanders beat reporter for the 2023-2024 NHL season. Tune into my Twitter at NickPalmer55 for live game updates in addition to pre- and post-game analysis. To get updates on all things Isles, follow me as the Blue and Orange try to bring another Stanley Cup championship to Long Island.
Back with you, Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs, Chris Persianen, our on-site producer. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports. 5 minutes into the third quarter, it's still just a 7-6 lead for the Stony Brook Seawolves. We only had 3 scoring plays and had a potential 4th scoring play on the Brandon Peskin field goal, but blocked at the line. The Stony Brook Seawolves would take over from their own 20. But Brian, another drive. Fordham gets into the red zone, but guess what? Penalties, offensive pass interference, moves them back 15 yards and just never able to recover.
Yeah, offensive pass interference called back a Makai Felton touchdown, and you can ask whether or not the touchdown would have happened if the pass interference didn't happen, but regardless, it moved them back 15 yards and put them in a much tougher position, and they were able to get some of that back, but all of it led to a field goal getting blocked, so Fordham ends up coming away with nothing on the half despite taking a lot of time off the clock.
Mark Preto's back out there for the Fordham Rams. Throw over the middle through the hands of Anthony Johnson. Casey Case looking to his favorite target in the first half. Brought in 5 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown, but that one a clear drop. But good for the Fordham Rams. Mark Preto, after what looked like a very gnarly injury, is back out there to start the second half.
Yeah, I mean, that was really scary at the end of the first half because it's not like he was walking off the field. He wasn't able to put any pressure on his right ankle, so I'm sure it's probably taped up and he's got some sort of treatment, but he does a nice job and he's back on the field.
Case takes a snap, facing pressure, finds Jaden Cook on a 12-yard curl route, turns up at the 33-yard line, brought down right there, but able to move the chains.
And again, this was a Stony Brook offense that really struggled to pick up first downs all season. 14th in the CAA. They've struggled to extend drives all season long. And for a moment, it looked like we were seeing that after the first 2 drives where they were forced into 3 and outs and picking up 0 first downs. But since then, they've done a really nice job offensively and have been picking up first downs, and they've been moving the chains.
8:44 left in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 34 for Stony Brook. Case takes the snap, drops back, throws right, brought in by Bonici, turning up along the far sideline, picks up the first down, lunges for the midfield line. And he's able to get there. Another first down reception for the Stony Brook Seawolves.
They had multiple tight ends on the line, and they just both run routes in the flat and just try to see if the Fordham defenders can catch up. They're not able to, so they pick up a first down.
Cam Blair slow to get up, sitting at midfield. Looks to be nursing his left leg. So we'll have another stoppage for injury-related reasons. Now Blair helped up to the feet pretty quickly and walking with some assistance, but doesn't seem to be too bad.
It just might be a little shaken up after that play. Seems to be walking off the field fine, so he might take a couple plays off. Cam Blair's been such an impact player in the last couple of weeks. You saw the interception against Georgetown. He even had a huge hit last week in the Lehigh game that forced a big incompletion in the latter stages of that game. So he's been a really nice piece for them in recent weeks and been a big reason why their defense has been able to make plays and get some takeaways.
Well, they'll turn to Nate Lindsay, the freshman cornerback. He's out there on the far side across from Hill Perkins. Turn our attention back to the Stony Brook Seawolves offense. Moving the ball well here, their last 2 plays, back-to-back first downs, have the ball at midfield. 8:09 and ticking on our third quarter clock as they protect a 1-point lead. Ball on the far hash, 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Case pitches near side for Dempster, shuffles the feet, cuts back towards the middle, and picks up a few, able to get up to the 44-yard line before the tackle by Sam Burkle.
Dempster's cutbacks are really fun to watch, where he's just able to move all over the field, almost like a human joystick. He does a really nice job of making defenders miss and being elusive by using his nice footwork, and we saw that there on that 5-yard gain.
2nd and 4 from the Fordham 44. 7:33 and ticking. 2 receivers up top, 1 down low. Case in the gun, takes the snap. Facing pressure from the near side, throws deep right. Incomplete, almost had it. Was Jaden Turner along the far side.
Yeah, and there Turner's just running an out and up, so he fakes the out route and then cuts up the field, but a really nice job by Nate Lindsay not biting on it and staying with the receiver and just pins him to the sideline. No lane to catch the ball for Turner, and it falls incomplete and sets up a 3rd down for the Fordham defense.
3rd and 4, they need the Fordham 40. It's 2 receivers either side. Case waits for the play call. Fordham showing 5 on the line as Conway right down the middle. Empty backfield now for Case. Takes the snap, looks right, pass is deflected at the line and incomplete. Matt Jaworski getting in there and knocking that pass down. And that should force the punting unit out there for Stony Brook.
Yeah, you saw Preto working on the right tackle. Jace Rodriguez just gets through the line right away. Immediate pressure off the edge. And Case tried to get that ball out quickly, but Jaworski does a really nice job getting a hand on it and disrupting the play at the line of scrimmage. And that'll send out the punting unit once again for Stony Brook.
The 5th attempt today for Clayton Taylor. He stands on his own 42-yard line, a chance to pin Fordham. Inside their own territory, Taylor punts away at the far side 15. The fair catch by Cole Thornton. And that's where Fordham will start this drive. Fordham began this half with possession, was able to drive up to the red zone. A penalty knocked them back. They're still looking for their first score since early in the second quarter. Before we get a look at the Fordham offense, we will take a break for the media timeout. So you're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Brian Gregory here, joined with Michael Calamari and Andrew Galata, 3 of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's only baseball podcast.
Tune in every week as we recap the latest from the Bronx and Queens, as well as news from around the MLB.
You can listen to Nosebleeds on Apple, Spotify, WFUVsports.org, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases all season long with the Nosebleeds podcast on WFUV Sports.
Back with you, Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs. On behalf of our entire WFUV Sports crew, it's our pleasure to bring you Fordham football on WFUV Sports. Stony Brook still leads 7-6. I had to double check to be sure. Brian, we haven't had a score since 10 minutes into the second quarter. That was the Anthony Johnson touchdown. It's been essentially no action ever since. We've had some big plays, but no scoring action by any means.
Well, I hope you like good defense.
Oh, I love good defense, Brian.
That's exactly what we're seeing today. Both teams doing a really nice job defensively. We're seeing Fordham get some pressure at the line of scrimmage. You saw them prevent a touchdown at the end of the first half, and there Matt Jaworski does a really nice job getting through the line, and the Stony Brook defense has done a really nice job all day long, not letting C.J. Montez and the Fordham offense get anything done in the passing game. They're making all the necessary plays that they need to, and we're seeing them get some pressure on C.J. Montez as well with a sack from Bomar on that last drive. Now C.J. Montez is going to need to lead Fordham 85 yards if they want to score for the first time today in the end zone.
Montez, the snap in the gun, throws, far side screen. Mekhi Felton met right there and shoved out of bounds by Quentin Porter. So that pass goes for no gain.
And Quentin Porter does a really good job of shedding that block. That's the design there. Just try to get a screen, get a blocker, but Fordham not able to stop the defender.
Empty backfield. Montez looking left and now throws the quick left screen for Julius Luffridge. Up for a 5-yard burst as he's tackled down at the 20-yard line. Sets up 3rd and 5.
And again, a lot of the routes downfield for Montez, at least in the second half, they're just not there. So Montez gives it a look, but ends up having to dump it off to Luffridge on a screen on the far side. And it gets about 5.
Empty backfield, 3 down low, 2 up top on 3rd and 5. Sending for Stony Brook. The quick drop off from Mekhi Felton picks up the first down. Angles towards the left sideline, still going. Darts out of bounds, shy at the 40-yard line. But Mekhi Felton, 2 receptions in this drive, and that one picks up the first.
Well, for Felton, that's his 6th catch of the day, and probably no bigger one than right there. He does a really nice job. Just a short route, but with the speed and quickness that he's had, he's just able to take it upfield, make defenders miss, and just be so quick with it. Takes it for a first down and gets a huge 3rd down pickup for Fordham.
3 receiver tight end set. It's KJ Reed, the freshman, in the far slot. Play action. Montez throws right side. Garrett Cody, the catch at the 43, and works up for the 50-yard line. He'll be right around the first down marker, and they'll give it to him. A 10-yard reception by Garrett Cody.
And a little bit of a dangerous throw there for Montez. Looked like Juju Ganthier, if he was able to recognize that play sooner, had a chance to pick that ball off. But instead, Cody's able to corral it, and another first down for Fordham as they're now at midfield.
5:30 and ticking, 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Montez play action, looking left now, scrambling left, a flag in the backfield. Montez will tuck it and run along the far sideline. The chase down tackle after just a gain of 2, but we'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get a hold on Jeff Ciccio with DeAndre Cruz working on him. Just tried to get in the backfield, and it looks like Ciccio just had a little bit of a grab of the jersey, and that's going to call this play back.
It was a nice chase down tackle by Jalen Hoyle, 2 yards in front of the line of scrimmage, but won't seem to matter as the holding against Jeff Ciccio moves Fordham back. 1st down and 20 from their own 40-yard line. It's Jamel James in the backfield to the right of C.J. Montez. Now moves over to the left. 2 receivers either side, Allen and K.J. Reed in the slots. Montez the snap, looking left, throws to Jamel James out of the backfield, turns up past the 40, crosses midfield and tackled down at the 48 of Stony Brook. A 12-yard reception, and you see the speed burst from Jamel James.
Speed burst from Jamel James, and a lot of credit there goes to Ciccio. Makes up for the holding call on the last play, sets up a really nice block that creates a lane for James on the left side, and he picks it up, gets a 12-yard gain, and gets a lot of that yardage back from the penalty.
4:38. 2nd down and 9, trips right. James stays out there to the right of C.J. Montez. It's M.J. Wright, far out on the left side, still yet to be targeted today. Montez takes the snap, the give to James, cuts outside, and not a ton of space, but able to get a few yards on that carry. That sets up a 3rd down and 7. In comes Julius Luffridge for this 3rd down play.
3rd down and 7. Fordham needs a play here. Wonder if it's 4 down territory with where they are on the field, if they're able to pick up yardage, but all that depends on what happens here on this 3rd down play.
They need the Stony Brook 40, 2 receivers either side. Luffridge offset right. 5 on the line for Stony Brook. 5 blush. Montez facing pressure, rolling right and brought down in the backfield. Sacked at his own 40-yard line. Rodney Falk comes up with a sack, the 2nd sack of the game for Stony Brook. And once again, out comes Will Hazlitt as Fordham unable to get on the board, and another empty drive.
Yeah, Rodney Falk getting pressure off the edge. And right there, Montez had some time, but that pocket collapsed really quickly, so Falk does a really nice job off the edge, and with that sack, Fordham obviously has to punt the football, not what they were looking for on that 3rd down.
Hazlitt from his own 28 barely gets the way. He's hit on the punt, and a flag flies in the backfield. His punt will roll inside the 15. Touchdown at the 12-yard line, but this might give Fordham a free 1st down.
Lou, that's a really tough penalty if you're Stony Brook. That's going to go as a roughing the kicker penalty or a running into the kicker.
A strong blitz off the line from Stony Brook on that blunt. They get right on that punt. They get right into the backfield and unable to block the punt, but they do get to hit Will Hazlitt, and you can't do that.
Can't do that. So Fordham, they catch a break as now they're going to be set up with a 1st down. So it was looking like a really tough drive where it ends in a sack, ends in disappointing fashion. You're coming away with no points. Now this is a chance for the Fordham offense to take advantage. You've been gifted a crucial mistake from this Stony Brook special teams unit, and now the offense gets to stay on the field. What are you going to do? We've been talking about Fordham capitalizing off of mistakes, and we did not see enough of that in Georgetown, where the defense got them 3 turnovers, and they weren't able to do much of anything from it. Now they have an opportunity. They've been gifted another chance. You have to be able to do something. You have to be able to keep moving the ball and extend this drive even further.
Fordham now in Stony Brook territory after the penalty at the 42. Wide receiver stacks either side. Fresh set of downs with 2:56 left in the 3rd. Straightaway give Luffridge. Bounces back inside and hurling forward. Inside the 40-yard line up to the 37. Just driving his shoulder into Aiden Kaler. Able to pick up 6.
Luffridge gains 6, and if you're looking, the rain is coming down a lot harder here in this 3rd quarter, so we'll see if they lean on the run game a little more, but we've seen Fordham operate well in the passing game, even in tough weather conditions in recent weeks against Stonehill and against Lehigh last week.
2nd and 5. Montez, the give to Luffridge once again, bursting up the middle. And this will be close, but he picks up enough for the first down, tackle just short of the 30. So 2 runs by Luffridge, able to pick up 11 yards and move the chains.
Evomenya and Portez do a really nice job creating a lane on the left side, and Luffridge sees it, he hits it, and takes it for another Fordham first down.
No huddle for Fordham, and now whistles in a timeout from Stony Brook, trying to slow things down. Fordham trying to move quickly. We know that's what they like to do, especially when they get going, is you'll see Fordham run 4 or 5 plays in a really quick sequence, and that's what they were trying to do there.
Yeah, once Fordham gets in a rhythm offensively, they like to keep it going up tempo, and for the defense, you're going to get fatigued, and it's going to be really tough to keep the energy up and keep up with the fast pace that the Fordham offense is providing and all the fast talent that they have, whether it be Luffridge, whether it be Mackay Felton. There's so much speed, so when you're going up-tempo, it becomes really hard to handle if you're a defense. So a nice call from Stony Brook, just calling a timeout, slowing things down, giving your defense a breather, and giving them a chance to reset.
Fordham starting to find openings in the secondary that's allowed the most passing yards in the CAA. It's the defensive front that's helped keep things even here in this third quarter. 2 receivers either side, 1st and 10 from the 31. Play action, Montez throwing deep far side for MJ Wright, incomplete. MJ Wright going for the leaping grab, a late flag from the back judge. And this looks to be pass interference against Quentin Porter, lined up against MJ Wright. The first time today that MJ Wright's been targeted. It's an end zone shot. It's not a completion, but it draws the foul.
It draws the flag, and this one, a little bit of an underthrown ball that MJ Wright had to come back for. And if that ball was placed in a better spot, it might be a touchdown, but Wright comes back to it, and it looks like they're going to get him for a pass interference. So Fordham gets a penalty, they get a gift, and now they keep moving. So now they've entered the red zone.
Inside the red zone at the 16, and MJ Wright, the Patriot League leader in receptions per game at 6.0 after a 10-reception game last week. Still no receptions today. Finally gets his first target of the game. So it's Fordham in the red zone, 1st and 10. 2 down low, 1 up top. Luffridge offset right. Montez, the give to Luffridge, bounces off left tackle, shakes one, moving up past the 10-yard line, inside the 10, brought down at the 8-yard line, a yard short of the first down. Relentless running by Julius Luffridge on the 9-yard carry.
Relentless is a really good word to use.
Thanks,
where
man.
Luffridge, he runs through the left side, has 2 defenders swarm him right away and wrap him up, and he somehow is able to shake those off, and he gets even further, shakes another tackler. He makes a lot of defenders miss, and it goes for just an 8-yard gain, but that's a big 8-yard run.
And a little bit of an injury timeout. Stony Brook checking out redshirt freshman linebacker Anthony Forelli, a guy that's had a major impact today for this Stony Brook defense. And a Stony Brook defense that's trying to stand tall right now with Fordham on a promising drive. Forelli, 8 tackles today, second behind only Aiden Kaler, and looks to be a left shoulder, left arm injury.
Yeah, Forelli's not only been an impact player today, but really has been all season. He's now at 31 tackles on the team. That's also second behind Kaler, and he's done a really nice job, and he's a really effective athlete who's made such an impact as a freshman. He's going to go into the tent and get checked out.
2nd and 1 from the 8, 2 receivers either side. Jaden Allen comes onto the line in motion. Snap, give to Luffridge, bounces upside. Trying to get to the 5-yard line, driving the pile forward, and it looks like it's going to be close. Don't think he got there. Brought down right at the line of scrimmage. They'll say no gain. Sets up 3rd and 1 with 1:15 left in the third quarter.
Luffridge initially got a couple yards, and he got swarmed by a couple defenders, and then the offensive lineman of Fordham just tried to give him an extra push, but the Stony Brook defense was not letting up, so they keep that play where it was, and Luffridge ends up being short of the sticks.
3rd and 1, line showing strong left with Luffridge offset right. The give to Luffridge, bounces upside, now diving for the 5-yard line, driving the pile forward once again, and this time he picks up the first down. Only a 2-yard gain, but took a ton of effort to get it. Luffridge able to move the chains.
Luffridge just such a tough runner, and he's really taking a beating out of the backfield right now. You have a lot of players on this Stony Brook defensive line just hitting him right away as soon as he touches the ball, but he's doing a really nice job of surging forward, fighting through the contact, and there he picks up a big first down, setting Fordham up with a 1st and goal and a chance to score a touchdown. They haven't been able to do it today, and it would be nice to settle for 3 and take the lead, but you know Fordham wants 6.
10 seconds and taking on the 3rd quarter clock. It's 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. We'll see if they snap before the end of the half. They do. Montez gives to Luffridge, bursting up the middle, diving for the end zone, reaches across and into the end zone. Fordham takes the lead. Julius Luffridge, his first touchdown of the game, and it's Fordham ahead, 12-7.
Well, you figure with how Julius Luffridge is running the football in this game, there's only a matter of time before he punched it across the goal, and that's his 7th total touchdown on the season. He's got 6 rushing now. He has 1 receiving, but he's just been having a terrific day on the ground. He's been a really special runner. Now at 137 yards, 142 yards, a touchdown on 22 carries. They've been feeding him all day long, and he's been doing excellent every time he touches that football.
Fordham keeping the offense out there to go for the 2-point conversion, trailing by 5. They went for 2 last week against Lehigh, converted it on a shovel pass to Jaden Allen.
Yeah, a chance for them to go up by 7, a full touchdown. No benefit to really being up 6 as they go into the 4th quarter, so go up by a full touchdown. Make it 14-7 if you can convert.
1 receiver either side, Allen and Cicio on the line to the right, and Luffridge sidecar right of Montez. Snap, Montez rolling right, facing pressure, trying to get away, but brought down in the backfield. Coming off the edge for the sack on the 2-point conversion. And Stony Brook able to snuff that one out.
So Fordham doesn't convert. That's a play where that's going to MJ Wright all the way. He's going in motion and then cuts back. So he fakes the motion, tries to get the Stony Brook defenders off guard. They do not. 2 defenders stay with him and don't let him to get open, cutting back to the pylon. So Montez has nowhere to go with the football. He has to just throw it away before taking a sack. So nice recognition by the Stony Brook defense. But the big takeaway, Fordham has the lead.
Fordham, at the end of the 3rd quarter, fails to get the 2-point conversion, but they do get their first touchdown of the game, a 6-yard carry from Julius Luffridge. And with that, let's send it back to the Rosehill Studios. Will Jing has your scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The top 25 seeded college football games continue on this rainy Saturday afternoon. Utah has maintained its lead on Cal 24-14. Penn State is smashing UMass 35-0. Kansas has gained the lead on Oklahoma State 32-27, and Texas A&M has gained the lead on Tennessee 10-7 in a low-scoring game just like the Fordham versus Stony Brook game. Washington is still beating Oregon, now 22-18 in Seattle. Bo Nix and the Oregon offense are now doing much better passing-wise with 126 yards compared to 66 the last time we checked in. On the other hand, Washington is still struggling with rushing yards, with only 1 rushing yard since the last time we checked in. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Will Jing.
Thank you, Will. We're all set for our final quarter of play here from Stony Brook, Long Island, and it's the Fordham Rams taking their first lead of the game since early in the 1st quarter. They led 3-0 after a field goal. Now taking a 12-7 lead. They don't get the 2-point conversion, but they do get a 6-yard touchdown from Julius Luffridge. Now up over 140 yards rushing on the day. This 1 week removed from a 170-yard performance against Lehigh. He's been on an absolute tear these last 2 weeks, and he pounds it in to give Fordham a lead in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Julius Luffridge has been really having a terrific day on the ground. A huge component as to why Fordham is leading 12-7 entering the 4th quarter, but they've just been feeding him the rock, and every time he gets it, he seems to make sometimes something out of nothing, and there he just takes it across the goal line, puts Fordham ahead, and he's just been doing a really nice job carrying his top performance from last week into this week against Stony Brook.
It's Peskett and King right to left to start our 4th quarter. Set to return, Jaden Turner angles past the 25-yard line, still going, past the 35, the 40, finally knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line, but a big return by Jaden Turner, senior return man for the Stony Brook Seawolves.
Wow, what a cutback from Turner, making a defender miss. Seemed like he was dead to rights, and then he makes a last-second cut to the left. So that play could have had him brought down at normal yardage, call it the 25. Now with his elusiveness, he takes it up to the 40. So a really nice return by such a dynamic playmaker like Jaden Turner.
The Stony Brook offense Set to start this drive, and now they haven't scored since 10 seconds into the second quarter. 12-7 lead for Fordham. Casey Case in the gun, ball at the near hash. Two receiver, two tight end set. Delay give to Roland Dempster. And that play going nowhere. Conway and Jackson Barletta snuff it out for a loss of 5.
Yeah, that Fordham defensive front just got through the line right away, leading the running back nowhere to go for Dempster. As you saw, 3 names just get through there with Conway, Sam Burkle, just so many players. Jackson Barletta getting through the line. So poor protection up front there from the offensive line of Stony Brook as the Fordham defense surges.
2nd and 15, Fordham in a 4-3, 2 on the line, 2 tight ends on the line for Stony Brook. Claps to the snap, Casey Case, play action. Looking right, pump fakes, and he'll be taken down in the backfield. A sack for the Fordham Rams, their first sack in 4 games. Credit Eli Armstrong with the sack, getting in there and forcing the pressure, and Casey Case brought down to set up a 3rd down and long.
So we've talking about needing to get pressure on quarterbacks. Fordham had not had a sack since the Buffalo game, but now they have that monkey off their back. Eli Armstrong comes in for the sack. You could even call that a coverage sack too, because there was time for Case in the pocket, but the secondary did a really nice job. There were no receivers open, so Case just has to sit on it, take the sack, and another big loss for the Stony Brook offense, but a really nice job defensively on this drive for this defense of Fordham.
Empty backfield, 3rd and 19, needing the 50, throws middle. Anthony Johnson catches it at the 36, but brought down right there by the freshman Andrew Osmond. He'll be 13 yards short of the first down, and the punting unit will have to come out there for a 6th time today. Another stop by this Fordham defense, and defensively can't complain much about Fordham outside of that one drive where they allowed the touchdown. They have held strong today.
No, they've done a really nice job, especially on that drive. They're just getting a lot of pressure now as we dwell into this 4th quarter, and it could have been tough after the big return, but they do a really nice job of not panicking, not letting that get to them, and a really nice defensive stand for a 3 and out.
Clayton Taylor kicks from his own 25, the wobbling kick to the 30 of Fordham, the fair catch by Cole Thornton. After Fordham's first touchdown drive of the game, their defense forces a 3 and out. And C.J. Montez on the Fordham offense right back out there. And C.J. Montez has looked better so far in this second half, a little bit sharper, a little bit more accurate. We've seen him target M.J. Wright once, but I think the thing we're still surprised by is M.J. Wright, no reception so far in this game, and now we're into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, uncharacteristic, especially after last week when you see a 10-catch week from M.J. Wright. He's their top receiver, but they've done a really nice job, the secondary of Stony Brook, that is, of not letting him get open, and Fordham just hasn't been able to get the ball his way.
Montez the snap, rolling right, throws. Jeff Ciccio caught at the 30, met right there, maybe picks up 1 with forward progress. But a nice job by the Stony Brook defense as meeting him right there for the tackle, Clarence Laganier.
Laganier does a really nice job staying with Ciccio, and Ciccio's a strong presence and hard to bring down, especially for a safety, but Laganier does a really nice job of fighting through him and just being able to take him down and limiting a gain.
Ball on the far hash, 2 up top, 1 down low. Montez takes the snap, play action, looking deep far side for M.J. Wright. Incomplete, but some more contact. Flags fly for the 2nd time today. M.J. Wright targeted and draws the pass interference.
Yeah, they were looking for M.J. Wright. He did have a step on the defender, and he had to wait a second to come back to that ball, but the issue is they're going to get Quentin Porter on not looking for the football. He has to turn his head and locate it. He does not do that.
And that's the same guy on that deep pass in the 3rd quarter.
So another tough pass interference penalty there. But M.J. Wright, at least his route running looks really strong in this second half there. He did have a step on the defender, so he's been getting open, and even though he doesn't come in with the catch, even when he's targeted, he's still making positive contributions.
1st and 10 from their own 48. Play action. Montez facing pressure. Throws deep near side. Incomplete. Just a tad out in front of Mekhi Felton on that deep out route.
Yeah, a deep out route there from Mekhi Felton. Montez also had a chance to just dump it off to Luffridge because that pocket seemed like it was collapsing, and Montez just needed to get that ball away. And not a high success rate in that situation here to complete that to Felton, but he goes for it, but not able to come through.
And even 12 minutes left in our final quarter. Wide receiver stacks either side. The far side screen for MJ Wright, his first reception of the game, but it goes for a loss of 4. Tackled down at the 45-yard line by Nick Chimenti.
Chimenti does a really good job of just scouting that out. He sheds Sio's block right away, and the second that MJ Wright has the ball in his hands, Chimenti's just right there to meet him, brings him down for a loss. And now Fordham has a tough third down play coming up.
3rd and 13 from their own 45. Needing the Stony Brook 42. 2 receivers either side. Low snap. Montez facing a blitz of 5. Unhauling deep down the field. Incomplete. A step ahead of MJ Wright. MJ Wright was open there, streaking along the far side. But a little too much juice there for CJ Montez, and out comes Will Haslett.
Well, they have MJ Wright just running these go routes, and he's successful with it, where he's getting by the defenders off the line. And credit to CJ Montez, he is taking the shot, but we just haven't seen the connection for much of this game between Wright and Montez. And again, they went to him twice on the drive, not able to get any completions, and a chance for a big play, but Fordham unsuccessful.
Haslett boots this from his own 35. Back to the 15, falling to a knee. Here's the punt returner, Nick Chimenti. So that's where Stony Brook will start this drive. Will Haslett's been busy today. It's been an inconsistent day for the Fordham offense so far. CJ Montez, 20 of 32, just 171 yards. Still no touchdowns. The lone touchdown coming from Julius Leffridge, who's been really the lone star of the offense today. 22 rushes, 142 yards, and a touchdown. But it's been tough for Fordham to get things going consistently here, even into the fourth quarter.
The consistency just has not been there. You've seen a couple of plays early on where Montez seemed comfortable, but now you're seeing a little more pressure, even though that Stony Brook's not getting to the quarterback necessarily. They're putting him under some duress, forcing him to get the ball out quickly, make a quick decision, and we just haven't seen him have the connection that we saw working so well in the last couple of games leading up to this. So the offense just hasn't really been able to get going. Just that one lone Leffridge touchdown has them up by 5. But again, it's about trusting this defense, and this defense has done an awesome job all day long. Now it's just about keeping that going, keeping the momentum, and hopefully getting another big stop and giving your offense the ball back.
You know, we've talked about CJ Montez obviously throughout this entire season, but especially his ability to throw the deep ball, and it's been inconsistent, and we noted that early on in the season they weren't taking as many deep shots, especially the way they were with Tim DeMorat, who it felt like, I mean, he'd go deep, you know, once a drive, once a set of downs even. CJ Montez, they were a bit more conservative in the beginning, but slowly but surely they let him air it out, and he was showing some nice accuracy. Today, I think we're seeing more of the CJ Montez we saw in Omni and Wagner in the first few weeks of the season, overthrowing his receivers deep time and time again. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've seen MJ Wright have a step, Garrett Cody have a step, and that reception not be converted.
And those are the ones where, if you're an offensive coordinator, you want to see your quarterback connect on those big plays, and that just hasn't been there. The openings, they've been there, but overall, Montez just has not been able to come through, and the receivers just have not been able to connect. So it's been a struggle. The opportunities have been there. There have been some opportunities where he has been under duress, but overall, Ford has been grounding and pounding in this game, and that's what's gotten them to where they are with the lead. But now it's about the defense to come out there again and make another big stop.
First down and 10 from their own 15. Casey Case looks right, throws right. The pass jumped by Nahil Perkins and tapped out of bounds. Great read by Nahil Perkins on that near side flat route.
Well, that was a bit of a high throw by Casey Case. And you know what? I think he's really lucky that that ball just came out of his hands wrong, because if that ball is on target, chest high to Anthony Johnson, Nahil Perkins is taking that in the end zone for a pick 6. So a really nice read from Perkins, like you mentioned, but a tough break there with the inaccurate throw, but it results in just an incompletion and sets up a second down.
The rain coming down here in Suffolk County about as hard as it's been all day long. 11-11 left in the fourth quarter. Second down and 10 from their own 15 is the Stony Brook Seawolves. Fordham sends 5. The run up the middle for Dempster. Works forward past the 15, up to the 20, trucking a defender. A powerful run up to the 20-yard line. Sets up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Fordham sent some pressure there, but Stony Brook still able to create a hole on the right side, and Dempster able to hit it, takes it for about 5. setting up another third down. We saw Fordham get off the field quickly on their last defensive possession with a 3-and-out. We'll see if they can force another one on their consecutive drives here.
On 3rd and 5, Stony Brook showing empty backfield, 3 down low, 2 up top.
And Fordham stacking the box.
Fordham stacks the box. Now both linebackers drop back. Fordham only sends 4. Case drops back, facing pressure, and brought down by Matt Jaworski. The ball comes loose, and Fordham says they have it. We await the official. It's a fumble and a recovery by Fordham. The strip sack from Matt Jaworski. Fordham takes over in the red zone.
Matt Jaworski has made such an impact today. We saw him come away knocking a ball down on the last defensive series there. He comes through with the sack, forces a fumble, and takeaways for Fordham. They've kind of come by the wayside in the last couple weeks, just have not been there aside from the Georgetown game, but no bigger than right there here in the fourth quarter. Jaworski going through the line, knocking the ball loose, and now the Fordham offense is set up in prime position in the red zone.
Fordham takes over at the Stony Brook 12, looking to extend on a 5-point lead. 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Montez claps to the snap. They give to Luffridge, bounces outside, stiff arms the defender, rolling past the 5-yard line, still going inside the 3. A powerful run from Julius Luffridge, refusing to go down.
Luffridge does it again. Believe it or not, he does shake another tackler, and there he had a defender wrapped around him, ready to take him down, but Luffridge, whether his stiff armor or his powerful legs, he just stays up and takes it across the first down marker. Another really impressive run for Julius Luffridge.
2 receivers down low, 2 tight ends on the line. Snap, give to Luffridge up the middle, man at the 3, powering forward for the end zone. He's got it, touchdown Fordham. Julius Luffridge, his 2nd touchdown of the game. Back-to-back 2 touchdown games, and Fordham takes a 2-score lead.
Back-to-back 2 touchdown games, back-to-back games of 150-plus rushing yards for Julius Luffridge. We knew what he was capable of coming into this season, but with the way that this Fordham offense has been operating, they're depending on him to carry the load today, and now with the rain coming down, it's going to put all the emphasis more on the rushing attack, and when Luffridge is just carrying the ball the way he does, and it's not just his shiftiness out of the backfield, it's the way that he's able to refuse to go down, carry defenders with him, just be so difficult for a defense. He does it again there, scores another touchdown, and Fordham continues to pile it on, now up by 2 possessions.
It's an 18-7 lead for Fordham. We've got a stoppage now after the touchdown. Andy Nwoko, the graduate student defensive end for Stony Brook, a transfer from Boise State, led the team in sacks and tackles for loss. He's down and not moving a ton at the 5-yard line. So he gets checked out by the Stony Brook training staff. So that to add insult to injury after the scoring play, Stony Brook has one of their best defensive linemen go down with an apparent injury. Now he's up and walking with some help.
I mean, with Julius Luffridge, this running attack for Fordham has been spectacular today. And we looked at Stony Brook and saw how they may be able to run the ball effectively with the different looks they provide. But you look at the discrepancies between Fordham and Stony Brook today. Fordham, 173 yards on the ground today compared to Stony Brook's 35. So Fordham has dominated in the run game today, and that's been the difference. And that's why we're seeing the difference on the scoreboard right now. And Fordham, another chance for a 2-point conversion.
Up by 11, they'll look to make this a 13-point lead. Trips right, Montez in the gun, Luffridge to his left. Ball in the near hash. Montez takes the snap, a flag immediately on the snap. False start on the offense. And we'll see if that deters head coach Joe Conlon from going for 2 here, and it will, as out trots Brandon Peskin.
Yeah, the false start pushes you back to the 7. Obviously a much tougher conversion, and you'd like to get 2 points on the board, but you're in a situation now where it's the difference between a 12 and a 13-point game where you might not need it necessarily. So after this false start, Coach Conlon is going to play it conservative and just take the PAT.
This will be a 26-yard attempt for the extra point. The ball on the near hash for Brandon Peskin. Snap, hold, kicks up, and straight through the uprights. Fordham ahead 19-7 with 9:53 left in our final quarter of play.
Again, such a big offensive possession for Fordham where you have a chance to pile on after scoring a touchdown on the previous drive and now taking advantage of turnovers. We talked about it in Georgetown, how it was not there. They came away with 0 points off of turnovers on the road in that contest, but there they get the turnover. They're set up perfectly in the red zone, and they capitalize in the best way possible with a touchdown.
And Brian, we had talked about coming into this game, Fordham had not recorded a sack since Buffalo, and here they come. 2 sacks, and on the last sack, it's Matt Jaworski, the strip sack. Fordham recovers in the red zone and converts immediately with the touchdown. Julius Luffridge adding to an already impressive day, 154 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 6.4 yards per carry. Now Peskin set for the ensuing kickoff. We'll get another look at the Stony Brook offense that now down 2 scores. It's going to be do or die time. Kicks to the near side. Jaden Turner at the 13, up past the 20, angling towards the near sideline, out of bounds, right past the 30-yard line. A scuffle breaking out between Mike Courtney and the Stony Brook sideline.
And we've talked about how impressed we were with this Stony Brook offense in the first half, but if you look at it now, in the grand scheme of things, they've only led 1 scoring drive all day, that being the touchdown in the second quarter. So
think about how big that goal line stand ends up being in this game, right, at the end of the first half.
And momentum's such a big thing where if they end up scoring going into the half, it can affect the mood in the locker room, but Fordham does a nice job, and now we'll see what Stony Brook has in store.
A fumble on the handoff to Dempster, able to fall on it, but no matter what, will go as a loss of 4. Some trouble there between Casey Case and his running back, Roland Dempster. Never got it into the stomach of Dempster. The ball popped free, but Dempster quick to jump on it.
And again, the rain has been falling for a lot of the second half, so maybe the ball's a little slippery now as the game has progressed, but that was almost a catastrophic miscue and could have been a game-sealing mistake.
The rain coming down only makes things more difficult for Stony Brook, down 2 scores. Second down and 14 at their own 27. Fordham sends 4. The pass out of the backfield for Dempster. Caught at the 25, but tackled the legs right there by Eli Armstrong. So with 9:05 and ticking on our fourth quarter, it'll be 3rd down and 14. Actually, scratch that, 3rd down and 15 as that pass will go for a loss of 1.
Yeah, Case just tries to get a swing pass to Dempster out of the backfield, but Armstrong reads it right away. He gets over there quickly and just is able to wrap him down by the shins. A really nice tackle, and it goes for a loss of 1.
2 up top, 1 down low for the Stony Brook offense. Casey Case in the gun. He needs the 41 for a first down, 15 yards away. Fordham sends 4. Coming from behind, Jaworski again, the strip sack. Ball comes free. Jaworski's 2nd sack of the game. Fordham recovers again. Back-to-back drives, back-to-back strip sacks, and once again Fordham takes over in the red zone.
Matt Jaworski has been a nightmare for the Stony Brook offensive line. I mean, you look at it, back-to-back drives, 2 strip sacks. You don't see that out of many defenders. So Matt Jaworski off the edge, you saw it right away. He just blew by the left tackle, and then Case just does not see him coming as he's going to throw. Jaworski hits him, the ball goes loose, and again, Matt Jaworski, another disruptive play, forces another strip sack, almost just like the one that we saw on the last drive, and Fordham once again in the red zone, thanks to number 34.
Well, the first one, Jaworski came from the left side. This time he comes from the blind side, and Casey Case just not ready for it at all. Fordham takes over from the Stony Brook 19. Cody comes across in motion. Claps to the snap, low snap. Montez gives to Jamel James, off left tackle, past the 20, into the end zone, touchdown Fordham! Jamel James, the first touchdown in his collegiate career, and Fordham takes a commanding lead ahead 25-7 with 8:23 left in the fourth.
Talk about how much Fordham loves utilizing Jamel James as a freshman. He gets in there for his first career touchdown. That's one that he's never going to forget. He just has a lot of open space on the left side, takes it right away. So Fordham capitalizing off of the fumble right away. 1 play, 1 score.
Peskin on for the extra point to make this a 26-7 lead. Snap the hold, kick clears the line, and right through the uprights. Fordham ahead 26-7 with 8:23 to play. On the first collegiate touchdown And the young career of Jamel James, essentially untouched, really just had to jump through one diving tackle. Not sure he even got a hand on him, and then it was all clear into the end zone for James.
A 19-yard touchdown run. Someone's got to save that ball for him because he's going to frame that somewhere in his home for later. But just a really nice job by this Fordham defense setting up another touchdown and Fordham capitalizing. And in the blink of an eye where Fordham trailed going into the half, now all of a sudden they find themselves up by 19.
It's Fordham ahead 26-7. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Back with you, Lou Orlando, Brian Rabacs, Chris Persianen, our on-site producer. In the blink of an eye, Fordham, a 26-7 lead on back-to-back strip sacks from Matt Jaworski. 3 rushing touchdowns today for the Fordham Rams. Have them with a 19-point lead with just 8 minutes to go here. And all of a sudden, Brian, we've been talking this whole game about frustrated with the offense. Well, not to say that the offense has dug themselves out of the hole entirely. They've relied heavily on their defense, but they do get 2 touchdown drives here in the fourth quarter.
Well, listen, you'll take scoring drives however you can get them, especially with the defense giving the offense as many opportunities as they have. I mean, look at Matt Jaworski, just creating so much pressure off the edge. And we saw this last week against Lehigh where he had 2 QB hits but no sacks, but now he's really getting to the quarterback quickly and causing a lot of turnovers, a lot of fumbles. He's just been everywhere on the field and has made a huge impact in this fourth quarter.
The kick from Peskin to the near side 12. Jaden Turner past the 20, jukes middle, up to the 25, and tackled right there. A nice stop by this Fordham special teams unit. Jalen Evans with a big hit. And what could have been another big return for Jaden Turner. Instead, a nice stop and essentially the same length as a touchback.
And if anything, if you're the Stony Brook offense, if you're Casey Case, you need something here. Obviously, down by 3 scores with 8 minutes to go, you just have to be able to work quickly and lead some sort of positive drive. Just be able to score as quick as possible, because if you're not able to do anything here and the drives ends like the last 2, this game is effectively over.
1st and 10 from the 25. Case on the near side hash. Looks right, throws right, brought in at the 30-yard line. As the reception there by Ramon Hart Jr. for a 5-yard gain.
And you see a quick pass there. Just a short out route. So Case being mindful of the pressure that Fordham has been able to get on these last couple of drives. And that play designed for him to just get the ball out quickly.
2nd and 5 from 32 up top. 1 down low. Dempster the back to the right of Case. Snap, dropping back. Fordham sends 5. Case hit as he throws, and this one will be intercepted by Naheal Perkins at his own 48, weaving middle. As he angles towards the far sideline, now cuts back left into Stony Brook territory, finally brought down at the 42-yard line. 3 straight drives with a turnover by this Fordham defense, and that play starts with the blitz from Mark Preto. Crushes Casey Case on that throw and that pass. An easy basket catch for Naheal Perkins.
Yeah, Perkins is going to get his 2nd interception of the season, but you have to credit a lot of that to Mark Preto, who is really just a free runner as a blitzer. So Case has to just try to get that ball away, and it ends up being a lob right in the hands of Naheal Perkins. And this Fordham defense is about as dominant as we've seen them all season. 3 straight drives, 3 straight turnovers, a nightmare performance for Stony Brook offensively, and Fordham once again going to have this ball, and you have to imagine they're going to try to just wind as much time off the clock as possible here.
7:40 left in our final quarter of play. It's Fordham ahead 19. The straightaway give Jamel James, angles off right tackle, but tripped up on the left end. Limits that to only a gain of 3.
And that gain of 3 could have gone for a lot more. Jamel James just coming off the 19-yard touchdown run a moment ago, but there he's just tripped up.
Anthony Williams with the diving stop. 2nd down and 7 from the Stony Brook 39. Trips left. Low snap. Montez play action. Looking right. Throws right for MJ Wright. Incomplete. As MJ Wright still looking for his first reception of the game. And that one, a very clear overthrow. That one nowhere near MJ Wright.
Clementi was in coverage and may have gotten a tug of the jersey, but like you said, that's an overthrow. That ball not catchable, so referee is not going to throw a flag. And again, they're still throwing the ball up by 19 with 7 minutes to go, but the connection still has not been there despite the momentum that this offense has been able to carry.
3rd and 7, 2 receivers either side. They need the 32. Montez drops back. Stony Brook sends 6. Montez stepping up in the pocket and brought down. Sacked at the 45-yard line. And Montez just a bit indecisive there. Had a second to throw, but kind of turtled up in the pocket, and he'll go down with a sack.
Yeah, not a lot of areas where Montez is able to go with that football. And with the situation, 7 minutes left, you're up by 19. You don't need to force anything. So maybe good of Montez to just hold the football, takes a sack, get the special teams unit on the field. Will Hazlitt has been awesome punting the football today. But Fordham still well in command of this game despite a nice play on defense for the Seawolves.
Hazlitt stands at his own 40. The high snap, boots it away. Pooch punt lands at the 20 and rolls sideways, so tapped down by Andrew Osman at the 18-yard line of Stony Brook. So 6:21 left in our 4th quarter. Stony Brook trails by 3 scores. They get the ball back quickly here after a 3 and out. But Brian, something about 4th quarters wakes up this Fordham team, and this, and you can look at time and time again, Georgetown, Lehigh, slow first half, maybe even a slow 3rd quarter, but they get to the 4th quarter and this team starts to play the brand of football that they want to play. The problem is that they haven't been able to do that really at all in the first half, and that's something that even Coach Conlon has identified as an issue. Case in the gun, trips far side. Dempster the back to his right. It's the near side give to Dempster, working up, gets up to the 30-yard line, call it a gain of 2.
On the topic of what you were saying a moment ago, you look at the Stony Brook drive chart in the 4th quarter where they've had 4 possessions in this quarter alone already, and they've resulted in a punt, a fumble, and an interception. No play going further than 3 plays, so it's been a really tough struggle offensively for Stony Brook, but this Fordham defense has been wreaking havoc in the final quarter.
Fordham sends 5. Case throws left side, incomplete, too high, over the head of Ramon Hart Jr. and Hart showing some visible frustration there after that misconnection. 3rd down and 7.
These are some of the issues that we're seeing from Case where he might just miss the receiver. He came in today with a 52% completion percentage, so hadn't been really efficient with his passes earlier on in the season, aside from the main game. And this Fordham defense is causing him a lot of problems in the pocket.
5 on the line for Fordham. They send 5. The near side give to Tallarico. Grabbed at the face mask. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Conway, but earlier on, one of the Fordham defenders got a grip of his face mask, and that will be a free 15 yards.
Yeah, you can see it from up here. A clear face mask on the run, so this is going to be, or maybe not.
They're going to call a chop block going against Stony Brook. From up here, it looked like a clear face mask, and actually the flag came out as the guy grabbed the face mask.
So from up here, understand our vantage point where it seems to be a grab by the face mask or the helmet, and immediately you see the judge throw the flag. So you figure it might be a face mask penalty, but it's a chop block, so it ends up going against Stony Brook, but Fordham declines the penalty as that play didn't end up really going anywhere. So again, the punting unit's going to come back on the field despite Stony Brook being down by 3 scores.
7th punt today for Clayton Taylor. 5:43 left in our final quarter. Taylor stands at his own 8-yard line. It's Cole Thornton to return from his own 40. Snap, Taylor angles right and boots it away. Fair catch from Thornton at the 40-yard line. So 5:29 left in our final quarter of play. The Fordham offense will get another look, and for the moment, it looks like they'll keep C.J. Montez and some of the starters out there, but you do wonder at some point if we see some of the second stringers, perhaps Jack Capaldi and maybe some of the younger guys.
Certainly possible. You've already kind of seen it with Luffridge not getting a lot of snaps on the last couple of series. It's really been headed by Jamel James. And here I think we're seeing Jack Kaiser get into the backfield. So they're already kind of resting some guys. We're seeing Garrett Cody's not on the field either. Cole Thornton down at the bottom of the field.
Ball in the near hash. Montez gives to Kaiser, shakes the tackle, and moves up past the 45, calling it a gain of 8 as he gets up all the way to the 47-yard line.
And we saw Montez throw on the last drive, but now you had around 5 minutes to go. There's no reason to be really aggressive here. You'd have to imagine Fordham's looking to just run the ball, try to run this clock down, and get out of here with a win as soon as possible.
It's Jack Kaiser, the sophomore, back out there getting some reps after a very productive day from Julius Luffridge. The clock ticks under 5 minutes on our fourth quarter clock. O-line showing strong left, Kaiser offset right, low snap, Montez handles it, gives to Kaiser up the middle, burrowing forward past the first down and moving the pile all the way up to the Stony Brook 45. Jack Kaiser's a guy that we saw come in against Wagner really as the primary backup in that game and really did impress. He's a strong runner, probably behind Jamel James in that running back depth chart, but certainly a guy that's gotten some looks and has impressed when he's gotten the carries.
He has been able to see the field in a couple of games, and he did have a first career rushing touchdown against Stonehill, so he's had some big moments this year and has been able to help this Fordham team out in the run game, and now getting some reps here as Fordham tries to get this down to zeros.
1st and 10 from the Stony Brook 46. Another give to Kaiser. Angles off right tackle, moving the pile forward for another 5-yard gain. And that one, Kaiser met the line of scrimmage, but able to drive the pile forward for 5.
And you'd have to imagine, if you're the Stony Brook defense, just really hard to be able to get the energy up and the confidence necessary to make a play. We're seeing Kaiser just get a lot of really solid runs on this drive. He just hasn't been able to be stopped by this Stony Brook defensive front, and the wind has really been taken out of the sails. You can hear it, too, with this crowd. It's gotten very quiet in the last couple of minutes of this game.
On 2nd down and 4, the freshman back, Jacob Rodriguez in, offset led of Montez. Snap, straightaway give, Jacob Rodriguez bursting forward past the 40-yard line, met at the 37 with a big hit. That'll be a yard short of the first down. Also coming in on that play, KJ Reed and Ricky Gonzalez, 2 freshman wide receivers.
Yeah, so Felton and MJ Wright have been taken off the field. They're just trying to mix and matching. We're seeing Jacob Rodriguez on the field right now, so Fordham definitely mixing in a lot of the secondary unit in the latter stages of this game.
Clock ticks under 3 minutes, 3rd and 1 from the 37. Montez in the gun, Rodriguez to his left, 2 down low, 1 up top. O-line showing strong right. Snap, the give to Rodriguez, angles off right tackle, met at the line of scrimmage, trying to drive the pile forward. But this one's going to be close. He looks to be inches short of the first down. Needed the 36. Got caught somewhere in between the 36 and the 37.
This would be 36 yards for 53 yards for Brandon Peskin at the 36. Not exactly the field goal range that Coach Conlon was talking to us about.
Not quite.
So it looks like they are going to keep the offense on there, possibly just get another yard out of Kaiser.
Kaiser comes back in for Jacob Rodriguez, so they'll go for it on 4th and inches. O-line shows strong right. Low snap, Montez gives to Kaiser, lunging forward for the first down. He's got it. Past the 35-yard line. The clock stops as they move the chains, but now resuming as the clock ticks under 2 minutes. An injury in the backfield. This looks like once again it might be Andy Nwoko, who we saw go down earlier with an injury, and still out there is Stony Brook keeping some of their starters out there. Scratch that. That's Rodney Falk going down with an injury right now, but quickly up to his feet.
Yeah, Falk looks like he's nursing some sort of leg or quad injury or something. Maybe something with his hamstring, so he's just going to walk off the field. And I'd imagine he's going to take the rest of this game off because Fordham's now in a position under 2 minutes to go. They don't have to really run any plays. They can enter victory formation and run this clock down. And you have to imagine they're at least going to be very conservative if they even dish the ball off at all. But you have to imagine they're going to look to get out of this game, and a huge win with a dominant 4th quarter.
This the last non-conference game for the Fordham Rams. Montez takes the snap, gives to Kaiser. Caught in the backfield, but shakes the tackle. Can't shake the second wave. They'll go down as a loss of 3. Brian, we're talking about what really, even into the third quarter, was not a certain victory by any means. Fordham took a 12-7 lead at the very end of the third quarter, but exploded in the fourth quarter with a pair of touchdowns. And all of a sudden, you look at the second half, they outscored Stony Brook 20-0. En route to this 26-7 lead that they have right now, a minute 10 and ticking. Second down and 13. Montez claps to the snap. Straightaway give. Kaiser darts past one tackle, moving past the 35 and ahead to the 32-yard line for a solid gain. You know,
we talk about a dominant fourth quarter out of the Fordham Rams, and this isn't necessarily new, where we've seen them last week against Lehigh. They really stepped up later in that fourth quarter, but the difference is they didn't have to come from behind to do it. They were in a good position entering the fourth quarter. They had a lead, and now they've just been doing a really, really nice job defensively and just dominated Stony Brook en route to what looks to be a 26-7 victory.
25 seconds in taking. Fordham enters victory formation to officially wrap this one up. This will go down as a 26-7 win for the Fordham Rams, their last taste of non-conference play. And, you know, Brian, knowing that the odds of Fordham getting an at-large bid after their loss to Georgetown were probably slim to none, you knew coming in that this game probably wasn't going to affect their Patriot League standing, their at-large bid standing. It can't affect their Patriot League standing, but so not going in with as much to play for as your conference games, but still nice to see the Fordham Rams go out there and with a strong fourth quarter play some good football, because look ahead at that schedule. Bye week and then Holy Cross. You want to be playing your best football going into that game. I still think you're uncertain, but you at least see once again a flash in the fourth quarter.
All right, we saw Fordham show signs of dominance in the fourth quarter, and we've seen them play well, but we haven't necessarily seen dominance in the last couple of weeks at the start of conference play. But we saw them kind of come back to that with that fourth quarter. I mean, defensively, just the way that they played up front, Matt Jaworski was just a monster off the edge. So 26-7 win. You beat a winless team by 3 scores. So I think the end result, you'll take it, despite it taking some time to get there and not being maybe a perfect game for the first half and then a little bit in the third quarter. But Fordham does come away with the win, and now this is kind of where you want it to be if you're a Fordham fan in this season, right? Where you have the bye week, and now the whole season really comes down to this Holy Cross game. I can only imagine the crowd that's going to be there and the type of energy that's going to be going into that game. And I'm almost upset that we have a bye week next week because we got to wait 2 weeks for this game.
Wrapping up this one, Julius Luffridge led the offense, 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not a banner day for C.J. Montez, 20 for 33, 171 yards, struggle with accuracy. But the offense able to do enough, and Brian, you highlighted it's the defense. Jaworski, 2 strip sacks, and Hill Perkins an interception. And obviously, no doubt we now highlight that Holy Cross game. So, you know, going into this bye week, Brian, I still think there's a lot to work on, because you look at that Holy Cross team right now ranked 12th in the FCS, a team that's no stranger to sweeping through conference play. They've won the Patriot League title the last 6 seasons. You know, that is an absolute Goliath, and one that Fordham has tussled with in the past. It hasn't worked out well for them really the last decade, so you need to be playing your best football going into that game, and they'll have 2 weeks to prepare for it.
Yeah, they're going to have an extensive preparation process leading into this Holy Cross game, but they do come off of 2 wins coming into this matchup, so they go into the bye, they have a chance to rest up, get some players healthy, and then really come out swinging on October 28th against Holy Cross. That's going to be a dogfight. I can't wait for it, but Fordham, they come away with a win. The defense looks really good, and Julius Luffridge, I mean, how about him on the ground today? 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has just been a monster out of the backfield, carrying defenders with him every step of the way, refusing to go down. Having that mentality is going to be huge when you go into your biggest matchup of the season against Holy Cross, but it's 2 weeks away. We're going to have to wait for it, but Fordham today comes away with a nice win.
Be sure to catch that broadcast in 2 weeks. That's the next time we'll be back, October 28th, 1 p.m. It'll be family weekend in Fordham on Rose Hill, and they'll be taking on their rival Holy Cross. But that does it for us here at Kenneth P. Lavelle Stadium. Once again, Fordham, a 26-7 win over the Stony Brook Seawolves. For Chris Persian, our on-site producer, for Brian Rabacs, I'm Lou Orlando. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one post-game report with Madi Dembele and Will Jing.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Stayed for dessert, I see. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Madi Dembele, welcome to Fordham's football post-game report. Madi Dembele once again, just for you guys just listening in. And guys, we had a very interesting affair down in Long Island. Fordham and Stony Brook, they did battle indeed. And it is your Fordham Rams that come away with the win 26-7. Again, Fordham Rams win 26-7. And guys, very interesting first half to kick off. You know, the Fordham offense couldn't get much done. But then the Fordham defense, something very, very special to hang your hat on. They're able to come out and perform at a very, very high level. And yeah, I have a few highlights here that I want to run through. So if we start and we look at the game, after 9 plays and 73 total yards, Brandon Peskin, coming off the game of his life, drills the 29-yard field goal to open up the scoring 3-0. 5 minutes into the game, Fordham leads.
Here's the last week's hero on for the 29-yarder. Brandon Peskin sinks it through the uprights. Fordham takes a 3-0 lead with 9:23 left in the first quarter.
Peskin then continues to show off his range, converting a second field goal from 43 yards out, extending Fordham's lead to 6-0.
A 43-yard attempt for Brandon Peskin on the near hash. Snap the hold. Peskin's kick is up. And through the upright, Brandon Peskin once again.
Stony Brook is able to show a pulse, however, as Casey Case evades the pressure to deliver a 29-yard dot for the game's first touchdown. The extra point gives Stony Brook an abrupt lead.
Case the snap, blitz off the edge from Mike Courtney. Case rolling right, throws on the run into the end zone, touchdown Stony Brook. Anthony Johnson the basket catch. What a play from Casey Case to extend that and get it into the end zone.
Fordham's defense flexes its muscle as they are able to halt the Stony Brook attack on the goal line to end the first half.
4th and goal, just inches to go. Case under center, Talarico the back behind him. Fordham loading the box. It's the push from Case, the QB sneak. Did he get in? We're waiting for the referee's signal. And they're going to say short. Fordham, the goal line stand.
Later on in the game, Stony Brook does their best Mutombo impression as they are able to block the Rams' field goal attempt early in the second half.
This a 35-yarder from the far hash. Snap the hold. Kick is blocked at the line. Stony Brook gets a hand on it and knocks it down. Fordham falls on it in the end zone.
Like the Empire strikes, the Fordham Rams strike back as Julius Luffridge powers in the TD from 6.
From the 6-yard line, we'll see if they snap before the end of the half. They do. Montez gives to Luffridge, bursting up the middle, diving for the end zone, reaches across and into the end zone. Fordham takes the lead.
Akin to Brooke Benton, anybody know Brooke Benton? It was just a matter of time for the Rams defense as Matt Jaworski is able to force not 1 but 2 strip sacks as Fordham recovers the football.
Claps of the snap, Casey Case, play action. Looking right, pump fakes, and he'll be taken down in the backfield. A sack for the Fordham Rams. Their first sack in 4 games.
From there, the Rams offense converts another TD on yet another Luffridge run, extending the affair to 19-7.
Snap. Give to Luffridge up the middle. Man at the 3, powering forward for the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown, Fordham. Julius Luffridge, his second touchdown of the game. Back-to-back 2 touchdown games, and Fordham takes a 2-score lead.
From there, it's all gravy for the Fordham Rams as Jamel James takes it home from 19 yards out, capping off the game 26-7.
Claps of the snap, low snap. Montez gives to Jamel James off left tackle, past the 20, into the end zone. Touchdown, Fordham.
Again, once again, what a great game by our Fordham Rams. I'm just proud start to finish, particularly this defense. Lou Bryan, are you guys on the line? Can we join you here?
Absolutely. What's up, Madi?
Yeah, everything's good. How you guys doing in Long Island?
Oh, we're great. It's always good to call a Fordham win. I think a little scared through 3 quarters, I'd say, but that 4th quarter was a blast.
Listen, this defense, I'll tell you what, in Long Island, I'm sick of this rain. Like,
I tell you, it's every weekend, man. Every weekend it's raining.
I feel bad for the players because they have to deal with this every single week now. Stonehill, Lehigh, now today. Can we give them a break?
Gentlemen, I can't tell you. I don't travel much. I just stay in my house, just school in the house. So I would love to visit Long Island once in a while. But I got a question for you, Lou. Obviously, this defense picked it up. This is a defense that's had a lot of criticism coming into the season. Everybody looked at the offense and said, oh, wow, look at this. But the defense was the main concern. They ball out today. We play Holy Cross and not the next week, but the week after. How do you see this defense performing against a Holy Cross offense that stands atop of this conference, this division, rather?
That's a really tough question because you love to see the defense ball out like this because it had been back-to-back games where you didn't feel like the defense played great. Georgetown, you're not blown away by the points that Georgetown scored, but if you watch that game, you don't think that the defense played great, even with the 3 turnovers that they got. And then Lehigh to let 35 points to that team that was averaging 13 coming in. You were kind of down on the defense in conference play so far. To see them come up, get some stands, really play outside of one drive, I think perfect football on the defensive end. That's awesome to see. But to turn and say Holy Cross, Holy Cross is a powerhouse, and their style of play, it doesn't matter who's on the defensive side for Fordham, has always torched them. Matt Sluka is an absolute beast, and you turn over, you look at Jordan Fuller, who leads the Patriot League in rushing yards. You have Jalen Coker, who leads the Patriot League in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. That offense is absolutely stacked, so you love having this game coming into it, but I'm not going to hedge my bets and say that Fordham's going to play great defense against Holy Cross just because that Holy Cross offense is just so unfathomably good.
Where's your belief? I kick it to you, Lou. I kick it to you, Will.
Hey, Brian. It's Will on the line here. I got a question for you. Being at the game today, obviously the second half was a big step up from the first half for the Fordham Rams. But for you being at the game, what was the biggest change you saw between the first and the second half?
So when looking at, I think the biggest thing that propelled Fordham into the second half was that goal line stop at the end of the first half because they were really able to set the tone from there. And I said earlier on that if Stony Brook ends up going into the halftime, scoring a touchdown, taking a 14-6 lead, that can be a huge difference in the game. So for Fordham to be able to stop them at the 1 yard line going into the half, I think that carried a lot of good energy into the second half of play. And with the offense, they were just able to turn it to Julius Luffridge, and he was able to just really make his mark on this Stony Brook defense. He was outstanding out of the backfield today with 154 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, another week where he has over 150 rush yards and 2 touchdowns. So Julius Luffridge, I think the game balls have to go to him and Matt Jaworski today because Jaworski was just a monster off the edge, and that's the player that they want him to be able to get pressure on quarterbacks, be a disruptor in the backfield, come off the line really well. So a lot of good things were working in the second half. Obviously, the dominance of the defense and the way that was able to step up helped them out. But there was a lot working right in that second half, and we've known Fordham to take a while to get things going, maybe more of a second-half team. But with the way that they were able to keep it close in the first half, they were able to dominate in the second half, and that led to a 3-score win.
Gentlemen, thank you. From me and Will back here in studio, we really appreciate the coverage. You guys do an excellent job. But we'll take it from here. Get off the line. No, I'm joking with you guys. Thank you guys so much. See you soon, boys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Before we get to our own analysis, I'm going to kick it to my main man, Will Jing, with updates from around this college football world. Will, take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Absolutely, Madi. So college football is continuing with some more action. Utah finished off Cal 34-14. Penn State is now absolutely massacring UMass. It's 56-0 over there. Oklahoma State has cut Kansas lead to 32-30, and Tennessee versus Texas A&M remains a low-scoring game, separated by just 1 point as Tennessee leads 14-13. Oregon is now beating Washington 33-29 in an ever more competitive game. On the other hand, Washington is still struggling with the run game as they only have 89 rushing yards coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter, which Marquise Irving of the Ducks beats on his own. Tonight, Louisville plays Pittsburgh, Auburn visits the LSU Tigers, Arizona plays Washington State, Missouri plays Kentucky, Caleb Williams and the number 10 USC Trojans play Notre Dame, the Miami Hurricanes play the UNC Tar Heels, UCLA plays Oregon State, and NC State has an in-state game against Duke. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Will Jing.
And we are back. Will Jing with the scoreboard. Thank you so much, brother. I got to tell you, kudos to this defense. Like 100%. They went out and they won this football game. And to your credit, Will Jing, I will eat crow because you said that this defense has to go out and they have to turn up the pressure. I said, no, it's all on the offense. Complementary football. This offense got to be able to go score the football. And Will Jing told me, ladies and gentlemen, Will Jing told me that this defense, if they turn up, they run away with this football game. And what did they do? Matt Jaworski, welcome to the party. Nice to meet you, too. 2 strip sacks in the closing moments of this football game to allow this offense to go out and score. I mean, just a fantastic finish to this game. Kudos and my hats off to this defense.
Yeah, I mean, Nahil Perkins, 1 interception. Whew. They forced some more fumbles, and they recovered it, which is what we talked about at the half.
Which you talked about.
But honestly, I think everything that I I spoke about, and it's part of what you spoke about too. I mean, Fordham did that in the second half.
Yeah.
Defensively, they stepped it up. Offensively, they stepped it up for sure. Julius Leffridge continued to do his thing.
Oh my God.
Wasn't averaging as many rushing yards per carry in the second half, but still got up to 154 yards. It's not bad. CJ Montez stepped it up, finished with 61% completion percentage, which I think at the half it was like 44.
Yeah.
So, and then they kept Casey Case's numbers down. He only finished with 243 passing yards, which is I think about only 40 more than
40 more. He finished with 203 in the first half.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they did a really good job all around. And because they basically did everything that we said that they needed to do, that's what helped them run away with this game at the end.
Did we win this football? I'm joking. Congrats to the 40 Rams. And once again, I think it was that little sequence, right? Brian Rabacs talked about this as you asked him your question. And it was that little sequence in time, because again, sports is a game of runs. It was like Fordham gets to stop at the goal line, right? They go into the second half juiced, right? The offense is juiced. They come out. First drive was a sign of things to come. CJ Montez completed a pass to Jaden Allen for 23 yards, and it was a first down. You saw the poise, you saw the confidence. He pump fakes, he delivers the football with confidence. Then Mekhi Felton, remember his name because his production picked up. I believe it was almost six catches in the second half, like straight out the gate.
I don't know if it was all in the second half, but in the game it was 6 catches, 52 yards.
52 yards. So his production definitely picked up as the game went along. Jamel James, you saw his injection into the backfield. I mean, him and Julius Leffridge switching off, and he scores a 19-yard touchdown. And as I talk about Julius Leffridge, I mean, just a power back, right? You question whether or not a guy like that could carry the load as just like this primary back who could take it over and over again. Back-to-back 2-touchdown games, back-to-back 150-plus rushing yard games. He's passing catches out the backfield to juice the offense. I mean, this kid is something special.
I think he's the most important piece of this offense.
Absolutely. Gotta
and I mean, I think the defense is a lot more of a. It's not one guy that stands out, but I think offensively, Julius Leffridge has become kind of the guy that you can rely on every single game. And as far as momentum goes, we also spoke about this at the half, and they completely swung the momentum. And like Brian said, it starts with that goal line stand at the end of the first half, and then suddenly it wasn't like a sudden swing. It wasn't like last week where it's one side then the other and back and forth really fast. This was more of a gradual momentum swing, as then, Fordham obviously scored 6 in the third quarter, and then, by the time fourth quarter rolled around, they just completely ran away with the game.
Absolutely. And I want to point you to the offense once again, because we've had our fair criticisms, mainly me. I've had my criticisms of this offense in this game. MJ Wright wasn't targeted that much in this game, but they're taking shots down the field. You see him, it was 2 times that they targeted him in the end zone. That's the offense, the kind of offense that Fordham needs. Not the fact that they were missing, but the fact that they were taking those shots, that it was those confident shots, and that you were looking at your main guys. Because prior to that, they hadn't looked MJ Wright's way. And that's not the Fordham football, that type of brand that you want to play. You obviously want to play your brand of football. And again, it's the small things, right? You see Roland Dempster fumble the football. Yes, it was raining, but you know what I think more of? He understands that defense has come to ball today. So he drops the football. A little bit of a fear factor in there. They played a more complete game towards this end, and I am happy to say that it was more so of a complimentary type of football that you like to see from any football program.
I don't know why you would want to target MJ Wright more, though. That's the thing. And I understand what you mean by
guy.
Because he had -3 yards today. So
he's your main guy. You got to get him involved. You got to take those shots with your best guys, however.
I mean, I think that, but when you have a game where somebody's losing yards, at the end of the game, I think that to me represents that you're a little bit cold today, right? You're not, you're not like Mekhi Felton was today or Garrett Cody. So I think that maybe it's not that you don't target him at all, but you maybe need to give him something that's a little bit easier, not throwing shots to the end zone.
Sure.
To get him warmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once he's kind of getting in there, then you could take a shot at him at the end zone. But I think that right now, especially after the last game, you should be targeting somebody like Garrett Cody.
Absolutely.
Instead of the end zone, because in the last game, it was his 2 catches that ended up setting up Brandon Peskin for that game-winning field goal. Had it not been for those 2 sideline catches from Garrett Cody, that's not going to happen.
Not saying the opposite. Just get your guys involved. I mean, I would have preferred it to be earlier. Obviously, like the guy doesn't have any receptions, no targets in the first half. Like, get him involved. But obviously, that's a much better way to do it. And again, this defense, I mean, they don't get enough. Matt Jaworski, 2 strip sacks. I mean, how many times have you heard that happen? I mean, the Fordham defense, they're getting pressure at the line of scrimmage. Roland Dempster is pushed back 5 yards. And very next play, he's sacked. Fordham's able to get their first sack in 4 games. You talked about Nikhil Perkins. He jumps to Casey Cates' pass, which could have been an interception. He grabs an interception later in the game. They're effective with their 3 and outs. Yeah, and straight up, they just bailed out the offense. They just went out and they won this game. I have nothing else to say. But if these two sides of the football are able to play on the same page, then this Fordham program is something that you have to look out for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Stony Brook only had 27 rushing yards today, which I just noticed now. I mean, that's quite incredible because there's 2 players and almost 3 on the Fordham Rams side that rushed for more than the Stony Brook Seawolves did as a team, because you had Luffridge with 154 and then another guy with 44, another guy with 24. So that's like, you know, if that 24 becomes 27, then you have 3 guys that are rushing for the same amount as a whole Seawolves team or more. So I think that's, you know, plays a big factor. But ultimately, I said this at the half, and I'm going to say this now, even though Casey Case didn't play as well in the second half as he did the first half.
They stifled him.
I mean, 243 yards in total and only 7 points.
Only 7 points. It's like usually with 200 and that many yards, almost 250 yards, you're thinking what, 2-3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
I mean, 1 touchdown is just a testament to this defense.
At least 10 to 14 points, not 7.
Not 7.
But I think it just goes to show that the overall, you know, the Fordham Rams defense came out to play, and especially in the way that they stopped the run game for the Seawolves. I think that, you know, when one method of your offense gets stifled like that, then you're only limited to one other choice, and then it takes away from the guessing game that the defense has to play then, because they're doing so well against the run, and I think they did much better against the pass in the second half, which is what basically left the Seawolves with nothing else to do.
Yes, I want to touch quickly on, and you make a fantastic point. I want to touch quickly on C.J. Montez. Excuse me for the mispronunciation earlier in the show. C.J. Montez didn't look the best in the game, but it's how you finish, right? Had a pretty good year, right? A transfer from, I want to say New Mexico State, comes in and he looks good for a majority of this earlier this season. Had a bad game now. I don't expect that to happen again. I think that he is a baller. I think he's going to look, I think he's going to go through his progressions, because that was a major thing in this game. He wasn't able to get into this progression because of the offensive line. The offensive line has done a better job later on in the game. I mean, like, everything just, like, whether I talk about C.J. Montez or Julius Luffridge, like, it just seemed like a better football product at the end, which, honestly, it is all you could really wish for, especially for a first half like that. So, kudos to the Fordham Rams. Great game by the Stony Brook Seahawks. Again, I got to admit, it's a cool name. Very, very cool name. I have been Madi Dembele, joined by Will Jing. We want to thank Glue Orlando and Brian Rabacs for play-by-play and color analysis for this game. Thank you for coming on into the Fordham post-game report. Got to thank my main man, Bobby Chaffardini. We call him Bobby C in studio. And this is a production of WFUV Sports.